yeah, with all of that out of the way, Symphony of the Night. I've actually played this one a fair bit recently, ever since I sort of got back into emulating stuff. Yeah, as you can see, I've played through this. Although these are, or in fact, I think it even, no, it doesn't show you the date on these, but, oh yeah, that's right, I've got to do a weird thing. Shit, what was the button? Because, yeah, you can see some of the text isn't showing up correctly there. There's a button you have to press. I think it's this one. Not that one. It's this one. Okay, that's the one. Yeah, there's some weird thing with the emulator where you've got to switch the mode to like a different display mode or something like that. But yeah, as you can see, I've played through this game a few different times since I've sort of gotten back into the whole PC emulation thing. But yeah, this is a game from my childhood for sure. This is, in fact, probably around the same time that I was playing Chrono Trigger. It's because I got my SNES pretty late in the life cycle of that system. It's because, like, because, yeah, what, SNES, PS1 would have come out in, like, what, 96, 97-ish? I think it was, like, no, more like 97. Yeah, I think it was, like, 96 or 97 that the PS1 came out, and I got my SNES, like, not very long before that. I think I would have gotten my SNES in, like, late 96, maybe even 97 or something like that. Like, and I played a ton of it before the PS1 came out, but yeah, I got my PS1, like, either the same year or about a year later. And at that time, there was basically nothing for the system. I basically bought the PS1 for Final Fantasy VII, like I was talking about throughout the Chrono Trigger stream. I was a huge RPG dork back in those days, so I pretty much, like, I was big into Squaresoft, Final Fantasy, any RPG I could get my hands on, and PS1 was the place to be for RPGs back in those days. But back when I got the system, it was mainly just FF7, and there wasn't that much else out that interested me. So I picked this up on kind of a whim. I wasn't into the old school Castlevania games. I played Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 2 on the NES, like way back in the day, but I could not make heads or tails of it back then. It was not my favorite game by any means. Yeah, I never played the original Castlevania or any of the ones on Super Nintendo or anything like that. So this was basically my first real foray into the Castlevania series, and it's not exactly representative of the series, or at least it wasn't at the time. This, of course, became the standard for the Castlevania series throughout most of the future beyond that. In fact, if you ever heard the term Metroidvania, like this is the other half of where that term comes from. Of course, that being sort of a portmanteau between Metroid and Castlevania, and the two main games that sort of formed the basis of that whole Metroidvania genre. That's basically everywhere these days. Like half the 2D indie games that you see on Steam these days are Metroidvanias, or have Metroidvania elements in some form or another. But the two pillars of the genre. Oh, actually, I'm going to shut up right here because I just love...
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
Classic.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh.
Oh, that little bit of flickering on the sprites, though. That's not right.
Humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Do you see that there? The
Tribute?
wobbling on the candles?
You steal men's souls
I don't like that.
and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
We're just gonna deal with it for now.
Your
I
words
feel
are
bad
as
about this
empty as
having
your soul.
like my I should have done just something that I could that wouldn't require much setup or anything, but we'll just live with this for now. And before the next time I stream this,
How about you?
I'll yeah, get my visual settings in order so that we don't have to see those stupid wobbling candles. So there's a gimmick here, a weird gimmick that I wouldn't have been able to, like, I wouldn't have known about this back in the day. It's not immediately obvious, but basically how good you do against Dracula here determines, because this is not representative of the game. This is like a sort of a flashback sequence to the previous game in the series, Rondo of Blood. Oh, dang it. So yeah, there's actually no way to really lose this fight. if you lose, you just get revived by Maria, and you're invincible, so there's like no way to actually lose this. But your performance here will actually determine your starting stats once you get into the game proper. And of course, the best you can do is to go through without using sub-weapons and not getting hit. Gets you the best stats possible. We've obviously already screwed that up, but oh, even Dracula's cape's not displaying. Like, this is becoming unbearable. I might have to... Oh, okay. I keep, because it's Richter, I keep expecting him to control like Richter, because, so I wasn't a big Castlevania guy back in the day, like I said, but I've really gotten into the Castlevania series, and even the old school Castlevanias before Symphony. I've really gotten into them since then. Oh yeah, look at that, it's all like disjointed and shit. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. Oh, dang it. Okay, we might actually die here. You get like really terrible stats, I think, if you actually get killed here, so that's gonna suck if that happens. This is a bit precarious here. Okay, I think we got him. There we go. Okay, we got a nice... Actually, that's impressive. Most of the time, most emulators won't display that little burning photograph thing correctly, even though they bugged out on the image there to begin with. Most emulators I've seen won't do that little trick with the photo correctly at all. But anyways, yeah, I've actually become a sort of a retroactive fan of classic Castlevania. I have now played the original NES Castlevanias, the SNES, or the, what was it, Super Castlevania, Bloodlines, and of course Rondo of Blood. And yeah, I really like those games. So like when I'm playing Richter at the start here, I'm kind of expecting him to control like Richter in Rondo of Blood. So I had a bit of difficulty getting used to that. But anyways, that's like that all happened later. But yeah, Castlevania is like one of the two main pillars of the whole Metroidvania genre. This was like a landmark game in the history of video games, I would say. This was like, of course, the big shift in the Castlevania series, where they moved from that kind of classic arcade 2D stage-based style to the Super Metroid style, essentially. Yeah, there's like tons and tons, and it's not like this. Those were like the first two games in that style. Like you have stuff like Blaster Master, I think back in the day was a sort of proto Metroidvania, and you have other smaller games for like the NES and SNES that sort of did this style of game. And I guess for any of you who aren't familiar with the style I'm talking about, and again, it's pretty much as opposed to the sort of stage-by-stage progression of your swell in the orchestra suddenly got really loud there. But as opposed to your usual stage-by-stage progression, it's just the whole game world is just one giant map for you to go out and explore. So it's like instead of individual stages, you have yeah, just one big map, and different sections of it will sort of become available to you as you move through the game world and unlock new abilities. Like eventually you'll earn a double jump and a high jump that'll let you get to different places. Okay, let's just try this again. Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, nope, that's still wobbling a bit. It's a bit blurry right now, and hopefully that didn't screw up. Okay. It's looking a little bit better, but we won't be sure until we see a candle. What if we go like this, then? Oh, now we got the flickering light there. Okay, I think this is slightly better, and you know what? For all I know, the wobbling candles might have been a thing back on the, like on the original CRT television, and I just didn't notice it back in the day. Because yeah, with the blur on like an old CRT television, you might not have even noticed, like a little bit of wobbling candles right there. That might have even just been an effect to get it to look right on our regular television. Oops, okay, doing a great job showing off just how I've been playing this game for years and years and years, and I'm super great at it and all. But yeah, and they changed up the controls appropriately, I think, actually. I don't think I would like a Metroid-style game with classic Castlevania controls. Oop, got a bit of slowdown here. Got a pot roast. And that's one of the great things I like about this game. It's a really sort of different style of Metroidvania. as opposed to like the pure Super Metroid. Super Metroid was more about like getting all the different abilities and progressing forward that way, whereas this added more RPG elements to it, where you're picking up like tons of different weapons and equipment and swipping and trying those out. There's just a tons of like hidden little secrets too. Like you have stuff like the the Edacoons and the whatever it is, ostrich-looking alien as like little side bonuses in Metroid, and they just like took that concept of like cute little side things, cute little diversions, and just neat little. Yeah, just neat, cute little diversions like that in the game world to sort of flesh out the map and make the world sort of come alive to you. They just sort of took that little bit that was there in Super Metroid and just ran wild with it here. There's a lot of just like really neat, strange, and beautiful little things to discover in this game. Among them being the fantastic 90s voice acting.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side.
Okay, so yeah, death is. I'm gonna have to do something about this later on, but it's good enough for now. I can see the sprites like kind of becoming disjointed there.
We will meet again.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, if things seemed a bit too easy going forward there, or rather going in the past there, we actually, basically it starts you off with all the best equipment in the game, and then you get it all taken away from you. It's that sort of, I think it's what Total Biscuit, I think, coins the abilities that these games sort of tease you with, and of course that being a play on abilities and the word tease, where it sort of gives you a bunch of all these cool abilities and equipment right off the bat in these types of games, just to show you what you have in store later on, and then it just sort of takes it away from you, and then you're a mere mortal with naught but a short sword and a bit of turkey to help you out from here. And you'll sort of start and this is where you sort of start your equipment collection and start powering up again, which brings in that kind of RPG element. And in fact, yeah, there's like actual RPG elements in this game. You like level up and gain stats and everything. Okay, so yeah, we got these things where you save your game. And yeah, of course, the reason why Alucard is like so powerful and has all of this great equipment coming into the game is that, of course, because there's the history of the Castlevania series. Alucard was actually a character from Castlevania 3. He was actually a playable character who would who teamed up with Trevor Belmont to defeat his father Dracula, because that's sort of Alucard's character. He's the half human, half vampire who sort of has his foot in both worlds, as it were, but decided to side with the humans against his father. And so there's a bit of interesting stuff that sort of comes out with that in terms of the plot line of this game. But of course, Castlevania 3... Can we make it? Oh, we actually made that jump. Of course, the intended solution here being to grab the switch and, yeah, lower the spikes like that. But you can just jump over it if you're awesome. There's actually a couple awesome little sort of shortcuts and side trips you can take here. I'm actually getting... I'm getting like hitching frame rate issues. This should not be happening. I'm gonna just see what I can do to fix this up. We're gonna close that. I'm gonna close that. Can't really afford to close my Twitch dashboard, can I? So I guess we'll just have to live with it. This is the reason why I was a bit hesitant to go right into this game without doing the proper technical preparations and all that. I always found it a bit unsettling, the way it cuts out the music when you go into your menu. I don't know what it is, it's just a weird thing with me, I guess. Or actually, we do want to... so that's a little shortcut you can take there, but we actually do want to go this way, because there's even... Not really a shortcut, but a cool little piece of equipment that you can get early here if we don't fuck it up. We fucked it up. I actually really want to go up there, because there's a really awesome... short sword that you'll get if you make this jump. The idea is that you come down here from above, and that sort of opens up a shortcut between this area and the next later on. But yeah, if you mess with the switch and put the pile of bones on it... Oh shit, that axe is gonna fuck me up, isn't it? Oh, I'm just gonna be here forever doing this. And I really want to do this because the item you get is really awesome up there. It's actually one of my favorite items in the game. You get this little stabbing dagger that's got crazy attack speed. It's weird. I'll explain a bit about stats and weapon strength and whatnot a bit later on. But basically, weapon strength isn't a huge thing in this game. It's all about the attack speed. So basically, the faster a weapon can attack, the better it is, especially later on in the game, when you've got like sort of a high base strength to work with. Okay, so that's... Okay, so we want to jump about when it gets there. Fuck, I fucked it up. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more shot. I know this is the kind of thing I'd fuck around with back in the day as a kid, just because that's how I like to play games, is just explore, you know, try and push the boundaries and see just what we can do. Try to go places that you're not supposed to get to early on. It used to be I could get this super easy every time, but it's been a while. Fuck. Yeah, we're just moving on. Frankly, it's not that big of a thing. We're gonna be able to go up there in very short order anyways. But yeah, it kind of sucks that I wasn't able to grab that right off the bat. But yeah, as far as the story, and of course I wouldn't have known any of like the history or the story behind the characters or anything like that, of course, my first time through the game. And it's not really necessary to know. Like, they kind of tell you everything you need. Like in that little intro sequence right there. Basically, yeah, that sort of Alucard's sort of, I don't know, relationship with Dracula is kind of alluded to there at the start. The fact that they don't like how he's befriending mortals, so you kind of get a little bit of an introduction to Alucard. You get the introduction to the notion that of the Belmonts as this, or actually I think this, I didn't pay attention at all to the opening text crawl, but I think they actually explained it in there, sort of who Alucard is and who the Belmonts are, and all of that. Actually, did I equip that hide cuirass when I got it? Okay, there we go. Actually, oh, you know what? If I were smart, because yeah, I'm just used to streaming PS1 games at this point, but actually there's a PSP version of this game, isn't there? That actually adds a lot of Japanese exclusive content that was cut out of the North American version. I've never actually emulated, or I've emulated PSP before, but I haven't... Alright, that was my first sub-weapon. I haven't streamed it before, so I don't have the setup for it. I don't have the templates and all of that set up to stream PSP games. But actually, yeah, maybe we come back to this. So I'll just keep playing this, and then what I think I'll do is we'll actually switch over to the PSP version for the next stream. And I'll just do a bit of off-camera catch-up work on that to make sure that I'm not replaying anything and boring you guys with repeated content. But yeah, I think we are actually going to go with the PSP version for this game, because there's a bunch of cool extra content in there that I really like and would like to show off. Or in fact, I think we actually... Yeah, that stupid shortcut I was trying to... Or no, it's after the boss, that's right. It's after the boss that you make the wrap around to the base lard, I think it's called. The super awesome dagger that we were trying to get earlier. Okay, and we got a nice shabby brown cape right now. I think his cape actually looks cooler if you just don't have a cape equipped. Like, just his regular black cape is a lot more stylish. But this one has the defense, so we're going to go with this one. Actually, yeah, I guess just to go into stats and attack and defense in this game, it's extremely simple. It's just attack minus defense. That's the way damage works in this game. So look, if I've got a cape that does... If I've got a cape with 1 defense and a cape with 2 defense, the one with 2 defense is going to make me take 2 less damage from enemies, and the one with 1 defense makes me take 1 less. In fact, I'm going to show that, or I'm not going to show it off against these guys, because they poison you, and poison is a really annoying status effect in this game. It's actually not like traditional RPG poison. It doesn't do damage over time. Instead, it just basically turns your turns your attack damage into bullshit, essentially. Or I think it takes away your base strength from your weapon damage or something like that. Because yeah, the basic stat for damage is base strength your strength stat plus your weapon damage, and that's your attack damage there. And later on in the game, you get like a huge base strength stat to the point where it's like most of your weapon damage is coming from your strength. So the damage of the weapon doesn't really matter at all. So basically, the faster the weapon can attack, the better it is. So that's why it's preferable to have like a shitty little dagger, because as long as it stabs quickly, it's better than anything else you can get. This is a weird fight right here. There's actually a fair bit of like mechanics that can, or actually you can, yeah, block this with the shield. You can get them into a simple little loop where you just keep hitting Slogra here, and he'll keep getting caught by Gaibon, and it's just like a really simple loop that you can do to beat him. It's actually faster to let them go ahead and do their attacks, just so you can get these kind of... Whoop. Fuck me. I can actually block these with the shield. I would not have expected that. Okay, I'm just invincible, it turns out. Actually, if you look at speedruns for this game, there's, yeah, kind of strategies based around that, where you sort of let them move around a little bit, and then try to get them to stack up. And then, yeah, this guy's just a wuss. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah, kind of an intense, not really an intense boss fight. Like I said, it's easy to get him into an infinite loop where you just kill them before they can even do anything. But just like the fact that there's like 2 bosses right off the bat in the first boss fight, it's intimidating and makes you feel like kind of a badass for beating them so easily. But it's not actually difficult, really. And actually, yeah, speaking of difficult, if you play, I think those guys come from Super Castlevania, or Super Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, Slogra and Gaibon were like endgame bosses. You fought them on like the final sort of, what are they called? The final boss rush leading up to Dracula. And they were actually really, really difficult in that game. Actually, a whole bunch of the sprites in this game are reused from the previous Castlevania games. Stuff like Bloodlines and especially Rondo of Blood. And like I said, even some from Super Castlevania also. So this is the place I was trying to get up to earlier. Yeah, you take a slow elevator ride down here, and you use a cannon to blow that open. And then, yeah, this is the dagger that I was trying to get at earlier. And that would have made the Slogra and Gaibon fight a little bit easier. And yeah, you can see that's where we were before, trying to get up here. Actually, just to show it off. Because yeah, you can see this actually does more damage. It takes our attack from 8 to 9, so that's 9 damage we're doing instead of 8. But yeah, this is as fast as you can go with the short sword. Whereas if you get the Basilard, it's like 3 or 4 times faster. It's just crazy. As long as you can get like a good safe spot and just hack away at their feet or whatever. Fuck me. I'd activated the elevator trying to show off the dagger. Oh well. We'll just go for a ride. And for some reason he goes into this little pose when he's on an elevator, because the game loves to just add little touches like this. Yeah, the way he's like kind of got his shoulders back like that, and is sort of one foot behind the other. And then whenever he's in that pose, you can do the little cape thing. He does the dramatic cape over the face thing. You probably can't hear me very well talking into my elbow pit there when I do that. It's just a gorgeous looking game too, is the other thing. In fact, I'd say a lot... This game isn't actually mechanically super deep. It's sort of an everything but the kitchen sink approach, where there's just like dozens and dozens of different like weapons and spells and hidden secrets around the castle, but it doesn't really amount to much like mechanical depth. It's just like a random, just morass of just all sorts of random things that they threw into this game, just like bits of extra flavor and just like funny items. And items with weird abilities and just like strange, obtuse effects. And it's just a lot of tons of creativity that went into this game. But it's not terribly focused. You can ignore a lot of that, and it's not super important to the basic gameplay. Like the basic game systems or anything like that. Like, there's a magic system in this game. You can see I've got an MP bar. In fact, if you know the incantations, you can just use those right off the bat. Forget what they are, though. I forget how this works. It's something like this. Or maybe I don't have the MP to use it yet. But if you... Basically, there's like a Street Fighter moves, essentially. Street Fighter inputs you can do on your controller to cast spells. Yeah, like that. And then that's what your MP is for. And you can just do them anytime you want if you know the moves. And if you don't, you'll learn them later on by picking up these different spell scrolls. But again, they're not terribly useful. There's not a lot of reason to use... There's like one useful spell in the whole game. And there's once you know what it is, there's pretty much no reason to use any spell but that one. It takes a lot of MP though. I think we need like 50... Yeah, once our MP gets to 50, we can start using Soul Steel just over and over again to top up our HP whenever we get low. But yeah, there's like this whole magic system with a bunch of spells that are all kind of pointless and you don't need, and there's not much use for them. And there's a whole bunch of items with really useful effects that you don't need, that are weaker than most of the other items, that just aren't of much use to you. But it's just really cool that they're there. They stuffed so much stuff in this game that it's like, even if you don't care about, like, you know, having the optimum equipment and having the best speedrun strats all the time and all of that. There's just like a bunch of just neat little trinkets and tricks to just sort of try out and explore, which I really love. There's all sorts of different types of runs you can do for this game too. Or it's like you just decide you're just going to use this one type of weapon all the way through, or you're going to go magic only, or you can get the duplicator on repeated playthroughs too, which lets you get infinite supply of all of your single-use items, and there's some really cool stuff you can do with that too. It's just a tremendous achievement, I think, in gaming. This is still maybe kind of sorta to this day my favorite Metroidvania. And on top of that, you got just the score, the graphics. It's like one of the best-looking games of all time. Or at least, I should say, one of the best-looking 2D sprite-based games of all time. If not the number one, frankly. It's just a tremendous achievement in gaming, this one, I think. It's an absolute classic. If you haven't played it yet, I think every gamer who's interested in just sort of classic gaming and like the whole Clinton era of gaming, as people like to call it, in the mid to late 90s. Yeah, this is one of the highlights, I think, of that whole period. Sort of, and a lot of that this is nostalgia talking. Like that's sort of the era that I grew up in. Like I played games on the NES back in the day, but I was like 3 years old when I started playing games on the original Nintendo, the NES. Like I couldn't really play video games properly back then. There was like, I never really finished a video game. I'd like play them and mess around a bit, but I wasn't really old enough to like really play video games properly. And I sort of learned over time, but it wasn't really until the Genesis especially. Genesis and Sonic 2. I've got a Let's Play of Sonic 2 over on my YouTube channel where I talk about like Sonic 2 was the one that just got me hooked on video games for pretty much the rest of my life in a really big way. And then I guess this whole PS1 era of just like fantastic RPGs and just really awesome creative stuff in general going on in the PS1 era. A lot of the games I listed that I was considering playing right now: Mega Man Legends, Brave Fencer Musashi, Legend of Mana. Not the greatest games. Like I said, there's a bit of jank to a lot of these games. They're a bit unfocused, tend to throw a lot of elements together without really considering how well they mesh together. A lot of pointless extras stuffed into things that make games feel a bit messy, a bit don't have that polish that a lot of modern games do. But they have a lot more charm as a result, I think. That's really more what games were about, was just sort of pushing the limits of game design and the hardware and all of that, and I really kind of miss that from these days. So yeah, I don't know, just to my mind. Maybe it's nostalgia talking, maybe it's just me growing up at the time that I did, but to me, the PS1, or sort of, yeah, late Super Nintendo leading into PS1 was really the golden age of gaming, for me at least. And frankly, they're making a comeback. Like, I'm not much into the... Okay, I think you can just duck under this one. Nope. Although that didn't do nearly as much damage as you would expect it to. As scary looking as this guy... Oh, I'm gonna belch. Sorry about that. Scary looking as that guy is, he's actually not terribly threatening. I used to be scared of video games back in the day too. I would have been, yeah, like I said, I would have been 9 or 10 playing Chrono Trigger, so I would have been like 10 or 11 playing this. I used to be scared of video games. Like I used to get super mad when I'd like fail at video games and stuff. I was the kind of kid who would like throw fits if he like got a game over in Mario or whatever. And so as a result, I was always like, I'd like freak out when I'd see a difficult looking enemy in a game like this. And I don't know. I guess that's part of the fun. And frankly, I can still sometimes be that guy who gets upset about video games. And that's kind of the fun of it, though, or especially board games. It becomes a bit of a social problem, I guess, when it comes to board games. But frankly, I don't think I'm having fun. I don't think I'm having fun unless I can get upset about a game, because that means that you're involved, that you have some sort of personal stake in the outcome, and that's sort of what makes a lot of these games fun for me. Actually, a lot of the board games that I tend to get angriest with are some of my favorites. Like I've actually started like not like fist fights or anything, but like verbal arguments, like really intense verbal arguments over games like New Angeles, where you're like sort of wheeling and dealing with the other characters, and we need to heal up right now. Good thing we got that potion. But yeah, types of games where you're like making deals and betraying the other players, those kinds of social games, I really, really enjoy them. And I think I do well at them, but I do tend to, I get kind of intense sometimes when I'm playing those types of games. But nevertheless, it's that intensity and that really makes me enjoy them overall. And you see a bit of that with video games too. I'm kind of past the point where I'll get upset about like a single-player 2D platformer, though. Like, you're not gonna see me throw a fit if I miss the elevator jump to the dagger 5 times, like you saw me do. Although I guess if I forget to save or something, that can set me off sometimes if I lose a bunch of progress, I guess. Actually, let's try, or no, right, this is not a good sub-weapon, although if you can get him when he lands... Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I gotta be using the sub-weapons there. Actually, I think I like the dagger. If we're going, because the other downside of the stabbing dagger that we have equipped here is that it's got kind of short range, so the dagger will sort of let us compensate for that weakness. Although it even does better damage than the dagger, and it's only 1 heart, and like candles are dropping hearts like candy right now. Oh, look at that! Oh, this is kind of fun. I forgot how fun this game was. Like, it hasn't been super long since I last played it. Like, maybe about a year ago, maybe would have been... Oh, wait. Okay. Looks like some enemies are resistant to it now. Okay, we actually gotta be careful now, because I think a couple more of these will do me in here. Yeah, I thought we could outpace him there. But yeah. Anyways, well, that was yeah, maybe non-stop nostalgic rambling, or whatever I called it, should just be like the theme of this stream in general. I feel like I go on tangents like that about how great gaming was back in the day. Seems like I do that every single time I stream anything. Although this game in particular, I think, really does. And you see, I guess a lot of people criticize this game, you know, for like that sort of just the sort of pointlessness of all the extras. It's like, yeah, it's got all this stuff, but it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't add to the game at all to have all of these spells and special item effects and little, like, extra Easter eggs and stuff all over the place in the game. The core gameplay isn't as solid as the future Castlevania games. And, you know, people are welcome to their opinion, I guess, but for me personally, I really do miss just the way they crammed all that stuff in here, and just that old kind of unpolished approach to game design back in the day. I don't really see games like really surprise me, and with just like the, again, random things that they can throw in there. And when you do come across a game like that, it's really special. In fact, as far as Metroidvanias go, because like I said, there's tons of these style of games on Steam these days. I can't even think of one. Like, there are some good ones, don't get me wrong. Like, I liked Rex Rocket a lot. Actually, Axiom Verge looks really good, I should say. I haven't played it yet, but I have it on good authority that Axiom Verge is excellent. That's one for the stream sometime. I think I should really stream some of these games that are in my Steam backlog, but when I'm just kind of starting out here, I kind of want to just, kind of starting or restarting out here on Twitch. I really want to stream games that I have a lot to talk about on my own, since there's, like, not a lot of chat interaction going on in these early days, so I kind of feel like I need a game that I'm experienced with, that I'll be able to talk about whether there's anyone talking back or not.
Wait a moment. You seem human, and yet...
What
do you here?
I don't know if it's just me, but I always found
I've come to
Maria's
destroy
voice
this
here
castle.
just
Then we have
really
the same
sexy
purpose.
for some reason.
I'll trust
Like,
you for now.
I guess not like way back in the
I'm
day,
Maria.
when I was
Who are
like
you?
12 or whatever, but like maybe when I was like
Alucard.
14, I would have been like, oh.
Not the talkative type, I can see. Well, perhaps we'll meet again.
It's a
If you
hilarious
live that
contrast
long.
if you know,
Farewell.
because Maria is another character from Rondo of Blood. She was a little girl back in that game, and she had, she was like the little Yankee girl trope of anime trope, basically. She had like a squeaky, high-pitched voice, and if you actually play the Japanese version, her voice in the original Japanese actually sounds a bit more like that original child version of Maria. I'm actually starting to lose my voice a little bit. I get like this all the time when I'm starting a new game. I really should pace myself, because I know that I tend to run out of things to talk about as I progress forward through these games. That kind of happened a bit with Chrono Trigger, where I was sort of said everything I had to say about all of the characters and the story and the structure of the game and all of that. I think I might try to summarize, because I remember I did that with The Witcher, and people seemed to like that. I did a Witcher 3, a big Witcher 3 summary, where I just kind of rambled, just sort of encapsulated my thoughts on the game after I was done with it, and I put it up on YouTube, and people seemed to like that. Maybe I'll just do that with all the games that I stream from now on. I almost feel like I could condense like the whole 20 hours of talking I did about Chrono Trigger. I really do think that I could probably condense that down into like a 30-40 minute YouTube ramble. Or is there a... Right, yeah, I know. What am I doing? I know the map of this game like the back of my hand. We need the open jewel to go up there. Oh, that wobbling though. Or I guess it kind of makes sense, since that's actually a piece that like comes apart if you hit the switch. So it kind of makes sense to have those sprites wobbling like that. But yeah, I've complained about that enough though. We're gonna fix it in time for the next stream for sure. And yeah, talk about your lack of mechanical depth and whatnot. That's a really impressive looking enemy. The sprite work, the animation, phenomenal. All this love and just fantastic work that went into this game, all in the service of this enemy that just like dies in 2 seconds. So that's the type of thing that people complain about, where it's like, sure, there's all this hard work and animation and all the extras that they put in, but the fundamentals are a bit lacking compared to the later Castlevania games. It's sort of the tension, I guess, between sort of aesthetics and mechanics, sort of, when it comes to video games. I think you can do both, depending on the type of game, and I think this game's aesthetics are strong enough that sort of it's more than compensates for the mechanical weaknesses. Whereas the later games, I kind of feel the opposite. It's just, I don't know, just in principle. Whereas, yeah, talking about this sort of early late 90s era as the sort of golden age of gaming, I feel like the whole Nintendo, or the whole Game Boy Advance DS era was kind of like a dark age of gaming, in my opinion. At least for 2D platformers and like classic, like these types of classic genres. Because you saw all that stuff relegated to the DS and the Game Boy Advance. And there were some decent games coming out on those systems, don't get me wrong. But it was all a step back. Like, we never saw a game that looked as good as Symphony of the Night, or any of the stuff that, This guy, you kind of need to tease out his animations a bit. In fact, we probably want to find a save point before we go too crazy trying to get past that guy. It's a little extra you can... And again, just going into the pointless bits of extra detail you can just find all over the place. That... Okay, I thought that bird got stuck, but looks like he was just coming home to roost. I just bit my cheek there. Yeah, he's just gonna sit there and just like fluff for a little bit before settling down. And someone animated that, and no one is ever gonna see it unless they actually stop on this screen to watch it. But there it is. So you can look through the telescope here. That's what we came here for. And you see the ferryman. And so yeah, and he's gonna show up later. And that's it. Like, you can't miss the ferryman. It's not like this is an incredibly useful clue or anything for a puzzle or anything like that. It's just, there's the ferryman. You'll see him later on. Here's a telescope. And it's just something neat that's there for no reason. Just a pointless diversion. Again, sort of enhances the world. It's like, there's a reason for this sort of side tower to be here. This is like the observatory, the watchtower of sorts. You know, maybe we do want the, well, okay, so when he does that, we want to duck right next to him and go to town. Actually, there'd be no point to switching to the sword since, okay. Yeah, I think we can just bait him out like this. So if he does any animation other than that, then we need to run. Whoa. Right, because I remember if you try to, yeah, go like that on him. Whoa. Okay, so sword back like that. Run away. Sword back. Okay. Come on. Throw me a bone here. Oh, that was some horse shit right there. I did not deserve that at all. I could have sworn that I had my PS1 emulation like all sorted out by now. Like, I remember encountering these problems the first time I tried out EPSXE, but I thought that I got it all sorted, and it just all seems to be like coming back all of a sudden now. Or is this actually going to work? Guess we could cheese him a little bit. Oh, that actually does a bit of extra damage too. Oh, and we got him. Nice. Okay, so this is a secret. Do you guys know about this secret right here? So we go through all that trouble to beat that sort of out-of-depth enemy, and oh, we get a pot roast. A one-shot heal that'll be obsolete in like about an hour of game time. Fantastic. What is the fucking point of all that? What is the point of having this dude out front guard the pot roast? That's like not even useful, not ever going to become useful. This is just a stupid, pointless room, and this game sucks. That's the type of thing that this game's critics would say, is that it's just like, there's no tightness to the design, but oh, what do you know? It's a secret. And of course, who would ever figure that out? There's no clue whatsoever. It's just totally random, and honestly kind of stupid that that is there. But, I don't know, I just love these pointless extras. I'd love that this is a thing that you can do this early in the game. And actually, fists... They have shorter range, but they're just as fast as daggers. So yeah, we actually do want to equip that. And the mirror cuirass is actually useless. It's just as good as the hide, pretty much. Or it says resist stoning, but there's not anything that'll stone you until way later in the game. Like balance. A lot of people... That's the thing that people talk about when they complain about this game, is balance. Oh, it's like either way too easy or way too hard, depending on whether or not you discover the good items or whatever. Yeah, we can't get up there just yet. And I don't know, I guess that's a thing for some people. The thing is, there's so much stuff to mess around with in this game. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want. Like I said, you can do different types of runs. Like, I've done runs before where I do no armor, no weapons. You can do naked Alucard runs of this game, and it's perfectly fun. Like, if you've mastered like the bosses and just how to fight everything, and you know the patterns and all of that, you can do a naked Alucard run, and it's like super challenging. But you can do that if that's the level of challenge you want. That's a bit too much for me. I didn't really enjoy my naked Alucard run when I tried it. What I like is just a bit of equipment. Like, I like I've done short sword only runs. Those are pretty, that was pretty decent. Or actually, I did base lard only. Because I figured, oh, short sword was pretty good, but could we go like a little bit somewhere between short sword only and naked Alucard? And so that's when I thought, oh, Basilard only has one attack. We'll try doing that. Oh yeah, you get this nice little... Yeah, so the different weapon types have different properties too. So if you've got a fist weapon equipped, you get that little drop kick you can do, which is actually really effective. It actually gives you good range, which the fist is kind of lacking. So yeah, we're going to have a pretty easy time because of that dual fist shortcut here in the early game. Actually, we've got enough mana for Soul Steal. Or, okay, what are the other spells that we've got? It was something like... Okay, so whatever that was... Okay, yeah, there's two versions of this attack, too. I'm just gonna... So if you go here, it'll also give you the spell input once you do it for the first time. So that's Hellfire. There's two different versions of the attack. If you hold up, you do the big black fireball one that I did there. When he maintains his little pose there. Because, yeah, he is Dracula's son, and that's kind of Dracula's signature attack right there. Actually, maybe we'll just do like we did in Chrono Trigger. We're just super thorough and show off everything that the game has to offer. So this is the Gladius right here. This is one of the game's boring weapons. So yeah, there's a lot of weapons in this game that have sort of special, interesting properties, different special attacks, that type of thing. And then there's sort of a whole line of boring weapons that are just straight upgrades off of each other. And the Gladius here is sort of your first introduction to that type of weapon. In fact, I think they all have the same animation. Like, I think Talwar is another one. Just like a linear upgrade path, where it's just all these different long swords with the same animation and different numbers. Super boring, but there's a whole bunch of those in the game. So yeah. Yeah, we're actually going to go into each item in depth. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Red Rust. So I thought, okay, when I was trying, because the difficulty with Naked Alucard is the fact that you're with your bare hands all the way through. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll do Red Rust, a Red Rust run, and that'll be fun. Something somewhat easier than Naked Alucard. The thing with the Red Rust, as it turns out, is it's got a super slow attack animation, like the slowest in the game. Like you see, this is as fast as I can swing this thing. And not only that, but it fails sometimes. Like sometimes just randomly. Like I think you saw that a bit earlier, where I tried to swing the sword and it just didn't work. I'm just going to keep using this until that happens again, so I can just kind of show it off. Actually, no. See, I'm getting my ass kicked already. That's enough of the Red Rust. We're going to equip a real weapon right now. Oops, okay. Can't quite one-shot these guys just yet. Actually, the library here is... Or no, that's... I was going to say this is an optional side area, but that's not true. There's actually some stuff you need to buy here. Actually, yeah, actually this is where Bat Form is too, isn't it? I was about to be talking out of my ass there. Yeah, you totally need to come here to progress the game. But there's also a side shop with sort of some fun extras as well that you can check out. Forget what's down here. Hey, those flea men can be really difficult, actually, the way they sort of hop around very erratically. I think that's just the same stats, yeah. And again, just like extra pointless bits of equipment. Not really any reason for this stuff to be in the game. They do basically the same thing. But it's there anyways. And they even drew like cute little sprites for all of them. And that's just great. I really appreciate... I've said that already, let's move on. I've gushed enough about like the great stuff about this game and the stuff people criticize about it. Let's actually talk about what's going on in the game right now. It's kind of how mysterious the game is, I feel, is the only way I can think to describe it. You don't get a lot of direction. Like even Super Metroid, and this again goes to sort of the criticisms of this game. Super Metroid, I think, it didn't have like cutscenes or like blinking lights to show you where to go or anything like that. Not like the modern Metroid games that all do that. But Super Metroid did a really good job of sort of naturally sort of guiding you along the right path with just the way the levels were laid out. And the way that sort of it's like you get a power-up, and that would sort of naturally lead you to the next area you need to go. or it would lead you to an area that sort of reminds you, or contains a reminder of a place that you need to go to use your new power-up. And there's a lot less of that in this game here. I feel like the design of the map in in Symphony of the Night is a bit more slapdash and haphazard, not quite as elegant and refined, I think, as Super Metroid. And some people don't like that, you know. I don't mind it too much. Like, there's a decent number of shortcuts and everything, too, so it's not like it's... And they've got the teleporters as well to help you move around. Some would say that's like a sign of shitty map design, where you need to have teleporter rooms to ferry you around the map. Like Super Metroid, it was all like shortcuts. Like you would, as you get your different new abilities, you would unlock new shortcuts that would sort of help facilitate your quick travel around the game world. Or Dark Souls was like the king of that, if you go into like sort of the 3D Metroidvanias, as it were. I really feel that Dark Souls, and that's kind of the cliche nowadays, is that every game that basically any video game that's a video game is like Dark Souls in some way. It's like, oh, this game's really difficult. It's like Dark Souls. Look, this game has great atmosphere. It's like Dark Souls. This game feels very oppressive and claustrophobic, like Dark Souls. People are just doing that nowadays, where they compare every game under the sun to Dark Souls.
What do you need?
I need your help.
Oh yeah, I kept on getting sidetracked when I was about to say this earlier. I really do enjoy the voice acting in this game.
Really? In that case,
Like,
just tell me what you need.
Not even ironically. I don't know, maybe I just have a taste for bad voice acting that other people don't, but I really do think that the voice work in this game is legitimately well done. It has that sort of, like, you know, like black and white B-movie horror sort of quality about it.
In this.
It's like you could imagine something like a Richter Belmont character delivering lines like that, like an old black and white Dracula film or something like that. I think it works really well for this style of game. And it's, yeah, really well implemented. Yeah, I do not agree with the people. Or I forget what it is. We'll get the castle map, even though I don't need it. Dark Metamorphosis. That's a pretty useless item, but I'm going to grab it anyways because I can't remember what the move is for that one. Or I guess maybe it's at the top? Jewel of Open. Yeah, so that's the item we need to get out of here. And we can get the other stuff, I guess. What can we afford? Or actually, library card's a good one, because it's... library card just teleports you back to the shop here, which is really useful if you're on like the opposite side of the castle and you want to get back here, or especially once you're in the second castle later on. That'll get you back here, no hassle. And yeah, this is the only shop in the game, so if we've got money, so we might as well spend it. Like, we can get a new helmet. It's +2 defense. Most of this stuff you'll get over the course of the game anyways, though, so I think maybe we just keep saving. We'll just keep saving. Oh yeah, and you can get tactics here, too. In fact, let's just, let's show this off. And this costs money, too, weirdly enough, but for every boss you've beaten, you can unlock sort of a demo that shows, yeah, just sort of how the devs beat the boss, or just strategy tips. I don't even know what you'd call this, but this is, yeah, the demo beating the boss. And yeah, this is kind of the strategy for how to beat Slugger and Gaibon very, very easily. In fact, if they were clever, they'd be using the axe when he goes up in the air like that as well. I say like a smartass, even though I completely forgot about the axes when I did this fight too. Although, occasionally, these little demos will actually show off like neat little tricks and secrets about the game that you might not have known about. Like, I think one of them uses a spell that, or I can't remember, or I think one of them demonstrates like the unique properties of an item, for example. In fact, I think the Galamoth demo is just Alucard equipping the Topaz circlet or whatever it is, and just healing off of his lightning attacks, and just like standing there and hacking at his ankles. Anyway, so that's the tactics list. We've also got the enemy list, which shows you all the enemy's stats, and also their drops as well, which I confess I've actually done this. I've gone through this game before and gotten every single enemy drop, and not just like, you know, focused in on it or whatever, and certainly not on stream. That's not gonna be this run. We're not gonna be that thorough, but like, as just like, sometimes I'll play a game as like a background, like I'll be listening to a podcast or a YouTube video, something like that.
Well, for now.
And I'll just like play a video game sort of in the background as I'm focusing on the podcast. Something very simple and mindless and repetitive. And one of the things I did one time when I had like a big queue of podcasts is I went through and I got every single item drop from every single monster in this game. And yeah, I think I even have that save file on my my PSP version of the game on the emulator here, where I've got the entire monster book filled out with all of the possible drops. It's really pointless. There's not, like, all of the important drops I already knew about. So I didn't really learn anything from that experience. It was just, I don't know, something to do. And now I have that save file to show off on stream, I guess, if I ever want to show off if I want to show off just how little of a life I have, or I guess had, before I started streaming. Or actually just, that was a bit risky. These guys can curse you, which basically messes up your attack. You can't attack while you're cursed, and you just have to wait for the curse to wear off. It seems like a lot of the status effects mess with your attack in this game. Like poison reduces your attack strength to like nil. Curse prevents you from attacking. Forget what the other... And I guess stone technically prevents you from attacking as well. Or I forget if I put the VOD recording on. Okay, we're still going. Good, good. Oh, is it just me or does the game audio still seem a little loud? I'm gonna bring it down just a hair. Okay, let me know if that's too quiet now, or if it even makes a difference, but, Oh yeah, I was about to say, I was talking about how idiots compare every game to Dark Souls these days, and that was going to be my lead-up into how this game is actually like Dark Souls. But seriously, I think there's like a lot of commonalities on every front. Like in fact, to the point where I pretty much think that Dark Souls is kind of like a 3D version of Symphony of the Night. Like, don't get me wrong, there's differences. Like the whole death system and the soul farming system and all of that is completely different. There's nothing like that. And which really changes the structure of the game, and the way you progress through the game world is completely different as a result to the different checkpoint and death system in that game. So it feels different, but there are a lot of similarities. Like I said, the way that things kind of loop around and you unlock shortcuts, like the way you'll like step on a switch to drop a bridge, or to open up a two-way door or something like that. There's like Super Metroid, the shortcuts were more integrated into the game world. It wasn't like a switch that you flip to open a one-way door or something like that, like we're doing here. In Metroid, it was more about, I've got this new ability, so now I can high jump, I can climb walls, I can go through this heated area that I couldn't get through before. It was all of the shortcuts through the game world were based on the abilities that you get over the course of the game, whereas in Symphony of the Night, and in Dark Souls as well, it was all about opening up shortcuts that all sort of loop back and twist in on themselves to sort of facilitate your movement through the game world. And I think Dark Souls did that even tremendously. I think it's a great achievement. I think, in fact, a lot of the stuff I said about this game applies to Dark Souls. Just the tremendous achievement it is in the history of video games. And again, Dark Souls 2, it's packed with all of these extra, like, just secrets. There's like tons of different weapons in Dark Souls, just like there are in this game, all with their sort of unique, esoteric properties to them. And the way the game map is kind of structured too. There's a lot of not even filler, because you don't have to do it. Just like optional fluff in this game, like whole side areas that'll lead to like just a crappy new sword, for example. It's like you'll go and you'll be the optional side boss, and it's like, cool, here's your HP up and your black sword or whatever. Like the catacombs, there's not really much reason to do a lot of stuff there. It's mostly optional stuff. And yet, okay, there's one thing in there that's necessary. But still, a lot of optional bosses and just like side areas. And it's the same thing in Dark Souls. There's tons of just like optional side areas and a whole different places and secrets to explore. And it seems like there's not much point to it. It's just for the sake of soaking in the atmosphere and seeing the sights and just experiencing the bosses for the sake of experiencing the bosses. There doesn't have to be like a new ability or like plot progression or anything like that. It's just like the satisfaction. The fact that it's like, why do you climb Mount Everest? Because it's there. And it's like, why do you go out and explore all the side areas and do all of the do an all boss run of Symphony of the Night or Dark Souls when there's no tangible benefit in gameplay terms? And it's the same answer. It's just because it's there. Because the game is fun. I think you can actually get through the whole clock tower, but you only get one shot at this, because there is a collapsing bridge right here. Yeah, you can actually get through this whole area, but it's really tricky. You only get, or I guess I can always reload my save and do it that way. Oh, the music here too is just great. I haven't even talked about the music yet in this game. I think the composer was Michiru Yamane. I know I'm butchering the pronunciations of these Japanese names, but and so that bridge that just collapsed there, that'll stay collapsed for the rest of the game. That doesn't come back if you leave and reload the area. So you gotta really, time your jumps, and I messed it up. And so I needed to land at the right point on that bridge to make the second jump across before it collapses. So now that it's gone, I can't get through this area until I come back with like a bat form, I think it is. And actually, I think there's another shortcut that'll get you sort of to this area from the opposite end. So yeah, you can come up here through the chapel as well and do it that way. But yeah, we messed it up, so I'm not going to get to show off my super great Castlevania skills at getting through the clock tower early. It's a bit of a shame. There's, again, sort of like I was trying to do with the basal art there, there's some really neat stuff you can pick up in the clock tower much earlier than you really should be able to get it, but oh well. You only get one shot, and we blew it, so here we are. But yeah, we got the Jewel of Open. And like the game doesn't really signpost you to like what you're supposed to do with that. Like we don't really know. We don't, have like a signpost or anything telling us where to go now. It's just you've got the Jewel of Open now. You figure it out. And if you've been paying attention, or actually I say you've been paying attention, on this run through the game, I have actually not encountered any of the Jewel of Open doors just yet. But I know exactly where they are. So we can either go to the caves or we can go to the chapel. I think the chapel is kind of the intended... In fact, actually, the game kind of does lead you to it, I suppose. Because, yeah, you can go here and open up the shortcut to the beginning. And if you continue through the beginning and just go through the alchemy lab again, that'll take you to the chapel. Oh, I'm really losing my voice here. Might have to take a break in a minute to refresh my drink. But yeah, just like kind of the way the game is structured, and again that kind of mysteriousness to it, where it's like you don't really know, you don't get any direction as to where to go or what to do, and there's a lot of sort of red herrings that lead to just random, neat little items and stuff. I think there's a lot of similarities between just the way this game is structured and Dark Souls in general. More so than the other games that people will say are like Dark Souls. It feels different, like I said, because of the way the death system works, and this game's a lot easier, for sure. So there's a different feel to it. It also has kind of that sense of just isolation, too. It's like the way you kind of randomly come across NPCs, and they'll say weird things, weird random things to you that don't really... there's just sort of like cryptic little hints, or not even hints, just like weird conversations where it's like, the hell you talking about, fella? This guy doesn't seem right in the head. And you have those sorts of conversations with like Maria and such in this game too. Anyways, that's enough of that. And I can understand how people would think that I'm talking out of my ass here, because like I said, people make Dark Souls comparisons between Dark Souls and every game these days. Somewhat aptly, I've got to say. Like I said, and again, like with Dark Souls and this game, there's just like a whole amalgam of just things that are great in video games in general, packed in here. So like there's a lot of great things that exist. Basically, a lot of the things that are great about any particular video game will be things that are great about Dark Souls and Symphony of the Night, just because Dark Souls and Symphony of the Night combine many, many different things that are great about different video games. Okay, yeah, I think we are going to go through the chapel here. Yeah, I'm trying to refresh my memory now as to what the main progression is through the game, because yeah, you do have a fair bit of freedom, and yeah, that lack of direction comes with a lot of freedom as to where to go to. Metroid, Super Metroid was a bit less open than this, I think. Metroid, there was a sort of a critical path through the game, where it's like you go and you get the morph ball to the super missiles to the high jump to Kraid, into Norfair again with the Varia suit.
So, we meet again, Alucard.
It seems so.
Yeah, it was actually kind of fast.
As friendly as ever, I see.
Wasn't that long since the last time we saw her.
This castle is different than I remember it.
This castle is a creature of chaos. It may take many incarnations.
And now we finally get the explanation for why
trust my memories,
Dracula's castle is laid out completely differently.
Good luck.
In every Castlevania game. Okay, so that's that. Now I completely forget what I was talking about before that conversation. Oh well, we'll have plenty of time to remember it over the course of the game. Although not tons, actually. This isn't a super long game. Like, this isn't going to be a big, long 20-hour experience like my Chrono Trigger playthrough. Even if I'm not going to do the full 200%. But actually, I guess I might. I think it's like... I can't remember if it's the full 200 you need, or if it's just like 180 for the best ending in this game. But whatever the requirements are, I think I will... shoot for the best ending on this run. Actually, if you care about time efficiency at all, it's actually a little bit more efficient to come back here later when you've got the double jump, so that you can actually get all of these items that we see off in the corner. Yeah, all of this would be way more difficult without this jeweled fist also. Oh, this is a tricky bit right here. Okay, and then you gotta... That does tons and tons of damage if you let it hit you. Oh, the music in this game is just so great. I think that... Or I don't know. It's tough to pick a favorite, but Chapel... the Chapel theme might be up there among my favorites in this game. I'm just gonna do this just for fun. Just because you can. Just because it's there. Like Mount Everest. We're gonna destroy the spiked ball. I think it's worth like 200 XP or something like that, so we'll get a level up out of it. So it's not a complete waste of time. I just wanted to show it off just to show that it could be done. Oh yeah, we got a neat little enemy right here too. And yeah, just the way you come up with these, not even like sub-bosses really, because there's no like boss music or anything, but just like these big random enemies in the middle of nowhere, where it's like this big epic like duel with the sword with a bunch of swords around him. Or actually, there's a really easy way to beat this guy. Yep, there we go. Soul Steal is the best spell in the game by far. There's like no reason to ever use any of the other spells. Takemitsu. I feel like that's a terrible one. I feel like that's like a joke sword, like the Red Rust. Yeah. I think I might have actually done a Takemitsu run before. So yeah, it's got like the attack strength of the Red Rust, but it's got doesn't have the power of it. It's like a, and yeah, I think it's meant to be like a bamboo sword, like a little shitty practice sword. And it's like, why the hell would they even put that in the game? It's just a useless item. For fun! That's the reason. Remember fun? And yeah, for the sake of, like, yeah, you can do Takemitsu runs. Oh, right, I don't think I have the mana for this. Nope, there we go. Yeah, Soul Steel is just crazy in this game. And it kind of outlives its usefulness later on. Like, the damage doesn't go up over time. But the healing is always useful. Your HP doesn't really go up super high, even by the end of the game, so that... And frankly, even by the time you do start reaching like 600 or 800 HP, you've got enough MP to just spam Soul Steel, so yeah, you can always get your little bit of healing when you need it. I think that's enough Takemitsu. Let's go Jewel Knuckle, and oh, have I not had a shield this whole time? So yeah, we got a Knight Shield now. Kind of a weird fighting strategy here. You got the shield and fist, as it were, which, again, going back to Dark Souls, is something you can do in Dark Souls. Because yeah, there's no reason to go double-fisted in Dark Souls. Actually, there isn't in this game either. So if you're using fist weapons in Dark Souls, the way to do it is to go shield and fist, which is kind of amusing. And here we are, a nice little side area where it's just like a random extra thing that they put into the game. You can go to confession, and he'll forgive your sins. And oh, he didn't drop it. Okay, randomly, the pardoner there, or the priest, will drop green tea when he fades away there. And also, randomly, he'll do this instead. So that's kind of amusing. Yeah, it's just a creepy little side area. There's nothing to this. There's like no secret. There's no further secrets to be unlocked here in the confession booth. This is all there is to it. And you can sit on the other side, and then the woman comes in and tells you her sins and cries. And I don't think there's any end to this. She'll just sit there like that until the end of time. This might actually be a good place to do a break, actually. Just leave it on here while I go... Or how much drink do we have left? We've got a little bit left, so... And then, of course... And then the same thing happens on the other side, too. Where randomly... you'll get the blue dress girl instead. Which I guess I'm getting... Would it be unlucky or unlucky? Whatever it is, she doesn't seem to be showing up. I'll give it one more shot, but basically the same thing that happens with the priest, where you get a creepy ghost shows up and, yeah, impales you. What a bitch. And yeah, there's no further secrets to be unlocked there. There's, like, nothing you can do to do anything with that area. It's just... Like, they put a confession booth in the game because it's really cool and creepy and atmospheric. And that's just kind of what the game is all about. Yeah, just those extra bits of just flavor and atmosphere. Talked about that a lot in Chrono Trigger as well. Just the extra lengths that they go to kind of flesh out the setting and all of that are just really, really great. And again, characteristic of this kind of era of gaming. You saw a lot of that type of thing in games back then, but now everything's much more streamlined, much more polished. You don't see that type of just excessive attention to detail in games nowadays. And when you do, people go nuts for it. Like, that's what Undertale was all about, was just like crazy, excessive world building and incredible attention to detail in Undertale. Like, even to like an excessive degree, to the point where, not even really excessive, but like an extensive degree, I should say, where it's like most players won't even notice all the stuff that's just crammed into that game. And yeah, I think that, yeah, the reputation that game has is very well deserved. And again, it is the type of thing that's really missing in a lot of games nowadays. You see it in Dark Souls, a lot of depths to uncover, as far as like the way, sort of the setting of that game, kind of how setting and storytelling kind of merge very seamlessly there. Just like the details of the game world and the item text and just the progression through the plot of the game and the NPCs all merge together to paint a very detailed portrait of sort of what's going on in the game world, but you kind of have to go out of your way to explore, to uncover all of those details. And you know, it was like that in Undertale, it's a bit like that here, although less in service of like a greater story in this game, as much as just, again, sort of pointless, like truly pointless extras that don't amount to anything in the end, other than just that sense of fun that I've been talking about. That sense of fun that people are really against a lot of the time I see these days. Why is there a confession booth? It's just a red herring. There's nothing you can do in it. Why is this even in the game? Just a waste of time and effort. Okay, let's throw the book at him. And again, a lot of pointless extra sub-weapons too. They've got the Castlevania classics. You got the dagger, the holy water, the cross, although the cross is actually different here. Then you got a few extra ones they added in this game. You got the salt, or I think it's ashes. It's either ashes or salt. They changed one for the other, like it was it was like crucifixion ashes in the North American version and salt in the Japanese, or the other way around. I don't remember exactly. Like, it would make more sense for it to be, I guess, ashes in the Japanese version, since they tended to sort of censor out that Christian imagery and reference those types of religious references a lot of the time in North American releases of Japanese games. On the other hand, there's also the cultural difference where it's like, I'm not sure that salt would make much, because yeah, salt is like a ward against evil spirits in a lot of cultures actually, but it's less of a thing in the North American religions. It's more of a Japanese thing. So I could see how they would maybe change salt to Eucharist ashes instead. Just to, yeah, cross that sort of cultural divide. This is a really easy boss right here. If you're lucky, he'll just do this forever, or long enough for you to just kill him. And you basically saw everything. Or he can hatch eggs, too, that'll bring out little baby hippogriffs as well. But, yeah, see that picture in the background?
Impressive.
A lot of detail
You're very
went into
strong.
that, and that's the only place that picture
What
shows
is it
up.
you want? You didn't come here to tell me that.
It's like the backgrounds
You're
and the
right.
graphics of
Do
each
you know the
area,
name
of each
Christa
screen,
Belmont?
are like individually
Of the
crafted.
Belmont clan?
It's
Of
just
course.
so
but
great. Oh yeah, that
He disappeared
again reference to
about a
the
year
old
ago,
game that he first
and I'm
appeared
sure
in.
he's here. If you see him, please let me know.
As you wish, my lady.
Thank you. So you do know how to be a gentleman.
Ho ho. So yeah, we got that lovely little portrait there, or painting, I guess, in the background. Little pixel painting. Yeah, let's just look at it for a little while. Just drink in its glory. And you get a few of these things throughout the game where it's just like unique rooms that are like, that aren't just like, you know, collections of tile layouts or whatever. I mean, sure, you see the copy-paste hallways like this, but to a much lesser extent, I would say, you see this kind of, yeah, these types of copy-pasted hallways in this game than in future Castlevania games. Like, I think, what was it? Order of Ecclesia was the worst for that game, for that sort of thing, where it's like, instead of like those like fully fleshed out little areas where you get like the unique pictures and stuff, that game was like all just copy pasted hallway graphics, and it was all just like building block type stuff, which I guess is fine. Like, it's still the game is still the game. It's just, I don't know, I really miss again, that those just kind of extra ludicrous extra details that they put into these old games. Oh yeah, there's Cutlass. I think that's another one of those generic swords. Yeah, you can see it's the exact same sword with the exact same animation. super boring. Not even gonna dignify it by getting it to taste the blood of an enemy. Oh yeah, and so yeah, this is I guess I'm just kind of going through based on like pure, just letting the lizard brain taken over throughout here, because I've been just kind of going through, just sort of on reflex, out of memory, as it were. And I'm not even thinking about like why we're going where we're going. But yeah, this is where you get the double jump. I don't know why I'm grabbing all these hearts. It's just like it's like grabbing rupees in Zelda. It's like even when your bag is full, you still gotta just get every single one. Or I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who's like that. Actually, I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who's like that, because I've watched other Twitch streamers, and a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them do the exact same thing. Maybe not with hearts in Castlevania, but certainly with the Zelda rupees. Okay, if you're gonna fuck off, then I'm gonna fuck off. Oh! Oh, he came in just under the fist. That was a sick dodge he made right there. Still didn't do him any good. He still came back. Couldn't quite make it on the second pass. There we go. Okay, now we got the Leap Stone. So this is going to open up a whole bunch of the game. And yeah, that's... I like the progression in this game. Like, it's kind of undirected. You get the story sequences. Like, Maria will come and talk to you, and it's like, oh, hi, have you seen Richter? Hi, have you seen Richter again? And then eventually we'll meet Richter. And so there's sort of like a little bit of a plot progression. But it's not like directions or anything. Like, they don't tell you, oh, I saw Richter in the Colosseum or wherever. They still leave you to your own devices to kind of explore at your, not even really at your own pace, but to just kind of explore blindly, really. Oh, Tearfing. That's a fun sword. I can't say that I've done a Tearfing run before, but that would probably be an aggravating run. So if you look at this, it reduces your attack. Yeah, it's a cursed dark sword. And what that does is it reduces your attack to 0. And what that means, which I think, where do we want to go now? We'll go into the caves now. Or let's actually check the map. So what does the Leap Stone open up? The Leap Stone actually opens up the clock tower. Actually, no, because we broke all the bridges. That's right. It makes it way easier to get all over the bridges, but... we could do... Excuse me. Could do Alrox's quarters, I guess. I think we're just going to go to the cave, though. That's kind of the next natural... I don't think there's even anything there for us at this point in the game. Oh, yeah. I was going to show off Tearfing. Here's Tearfing. It's glorious 0 damage. Like, it literally just goes right through the enemies and doesn't do anything. That's not always going to be the case, though. Basically, what it does is it's a big minus. It's like minus 30 attack. And so that's just what happens if you get down to 0 attack, is the sword just goes through the enemy and doesn't do anything. Later on in the game, though, once your base strength increases, Tearfing can actually do some damage. And that can be another challenge run you can do, where you do a Tearfing run, where you just fight everything in the reverse castle at like minus 30 attack strength. I don't know. That would probably be even harder than an unarmed, than a naked Alucard run, because you'd actually be doing less damage and less attack speed. So you'd have like none of the advantages of the fist going for you. And without even the advantage of the increased attack strength of swords, either. I can't remember if the gem was an item in, in previous Castlevania games or not. I think this one was also new to this game. Yeah, a lot of the new items they introduced in this game are not terribly useful. Like the salt or ashes are basically the same thing as holy water, except less cool. The bouncy stone is really only useful in confined areas, like a few boss fights. You can get multiple hits on bosses, since it'll bounce off the walls and stuff. But in most of the game is corridors, and in corridors it's basically just a weird projectile that has a weird arc to it. Although you get situations like that where it kind of works out. Actually, Okay, so we can one-shot him. It is fun to see it, and again, it doesn't matter to me that it's not useful. It is fun to see it bounce around, and I think that's enough to justify its inclusion in the game for me. So yeah, this, the Ashes, and the Bible were new additions to this game. I think, yeah, we can easily get that guy before he gets his attack off now. Actually, we actually do want to collect hearts right now. Oh yeah, we got the double jump. Why don't we freaking use it? Oh yeah, there was some stuff in the entrance that I missed also that I could have gone back and gotten too. Or actually, oh yeah, I completely forgot. Okay, so there's some hidden moves in this game too that aren't. They might be listed in the manual. I'm not sure, but they're not obvious, and they seem like kind of again those completely pointless extras. It's like, okay, we got a couple different kinds of kicks. We got this down kick. Whoops. No. We got this down kick because we got the fist equipped, but we've also got the double jump down kick. Whatever, that'll get me up there. And yeah, that'll let you bounce off enemies, actually, which is a really useful property, and you can open up some shortcuts by using it. In fact, oh, I really wish that I would have done that back at the entrance now. Oh well. The next time we find a teleporter, we'll teleport that back to the entrance, and I'll show that off. Because yeah, there's some neat tricks you can do by bouncing off the enemies with your double jump kick. And you can change. Oh right, he's got the floating things there. And yeah, you can chain them too. Where it's like if you kick off one enemy, you can double jump and kick off the next. Yeah, it refreshes your double jump, so you can just keep on doing that and kicking off of candles and enemies and stuff. And you can yeah, unlock. You can get to certain areas early that way. Or I think there's just one I can think of that's the main one. But yeah, oh actually. Oh yeah, Orloc's opened up right now, so yeah, we can go here. Or you know what, you need the bat. That's right, you need the bat to go all the way to is it Olrock or Orloc's in this version? I think it's Orloc's. Oh hey, there we go. There we go! Oh, that was... See, that alone, I think, justifies the inclusion of that item in this game. And I think that's like literally the only screen on the game where you can do something cool like that. But yeah, that was just awesome. Oh, this guy's tough. So yeah, this is a bit of a tougher area right here. We're coming here a little bit earlier than you might expect to in a normal run through the game. So the gimmick with this area is it's only unlocked at certain times in the hour. So like the game's clock is on a kind of cycle, and only during certain times in the cycle is this area open. Otherwise, it's blocked off by a statue. But since we happened to come through at the right time, this was opened up to us, so we might as well do it now. Oh yeah, if it wasn't obvious... Where is it? What did we just pick up? We just got a sword, didn't we? Oh yeah, the broadsword. Another generic sword. Same as the other ones. Moving on. I guess I could keep just farming this guy. Or I'm gonna see if I can fight him straight up. Oh yeah, this guy ain't shit. Oh, actually, the ring sucks, as it turns out, for this guy, but... Okay, if that's a bit kind of cheating there, I think. You're... Yeah, if he's just... If this fucker's just gonna wall hack, then, yeah, we'll do the soul steal. Oh, or this. Motherfucker. I'm having a bit of trouble with my spell inputs here. Hey there, Lucha Bear. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see ya. I'm just having a little romp through Castlevania where I mess up my soul steal input like 5 times in a row. There we go. Maybe I didn't have the MP just yet. That's gonna be my excuse. MP problems. Oh yeah, we got, I think the clock, yeah, the clock was definitely in Rondo of Blood. You needed the stopwatch in Rondo of Blood to unlock certain side areas, I do believe. Oh, Colosseum. And I was just saying how the chapel was maybe my favorite music in the game. This is also maybe my favorite music in the game. I just love this. I don't even want to go into the save room to pause it. I just want to keep rocking out right here. But yeah, we gotta save it. Okay. And it's just kind of a weird... Like, you'd think that the way they do the music for the reverse Colosseum is more like you'd expect from this type of atmosphere that you've got going on in this game, or at least the setting that the visuals kind of place on you. Yeah, we'll see, like, some unique background details a little bit later on. Whoa! Or, you know what, I think I'm tempted to just soul steal these guys. So I think you want to hit the sword. Okay, that just sucks. But hey, they're stacked up, so this will actually be super easy now. Oh, or maybe not. Maybe we're just gonna suck it up right here. Okay, yeah, it's weird. The hitbox on that sword is really weird. Oh god, this is ugly. Oh yeah, I don't know if this is a thing. Or in fact, I know it's not just me. But I really liked some of the designs of the female characters in this game, like back in the day, like liked in like a weeaboo type way, like hunting girl is best waifu and that type thing. So you can tell by her silhouettes that she's like kind of cute, I think, and you see that with a few of the different designs of some of the monsters, quote unquote monsters in this game, like the Salem Witch, I think it is, or Salem Witch later on. Okay, this is not gonna do right here. We're gonna do something about that. Okay, we got this guy here. I believe this guy was like a boss in either a later or a previous Castlevania game. I feel like they used this guy as a boss. Oh, wow. I did not know about that. I learned something today. You can just stand on that guy's freaking head. But we're gonna need a potion right now. Okay, yeah, Jewel Knuckle is coming up a bit short right here. I think what we really want is something with a bit of reach, which is actually going to be that broadsword that I was shit-talking just now. Yeah, they kind of do expect you to have a sword with... Yeah, so like this, like... And actually, that's a monster... Yeah, this guy actually showed up in Rondo of... It was either Rondo of Blood or Dracula X. Maybe both. The Dracula X on the Super Nintendo, which is basically like a Super Nintendo version of Rondo of Blood with all the same sprites, except it was completely different and not nearly as good. And yeah, that's like... Or I think there might be another one of these elsewhere in the level, but that's just like the needless amount of extra background detail that's just makes this game for me. Actually, we can get a good weapon, or a good sub-weapon now. Yeah, I feel like good holy water could do for us right here. And actually, since I lost all of that HP, I think it's actually a smart idea to go back and refill at the save point. Like I said, we are here a little bit early. I think like a normal run, like first time run through the game would take you through the caves before you come here. Or actually, let's see what there is to see up top here. This area is like pretty well connected, so it's like, it's not that, you can't really get lost in this area. Everything's connected to everything else, so it's not, it doesn't really matter which path you take. You know, there is something to be said for the extra range of the sword, I've got to say. Maybe I spoke too soon when I was talking about how shitty the sword was compared to the extra attack speed you get from the dagger and fist. Or actually, I think you can maybe get up there. Because if you look, maybe not there. Yeah, there you go. So you can get up there right now, except you can't get up there right now. It's really tricky, but you got that assassin skeleton. He has an attack where he sort of backflips through the air, and if you time it perfectly, where you do a double jump here and kick off of him when he's in the air. You can get up there. I think that's even something that speedrunners do. I feel like I've seen people try to do that at like AGDQ or something, but I might have pulled it off a couple times, but I would be here for like 20 minutes at least if I tried to do it now, so we're going to move on. I think it's the boss through there, so we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to explore and see the sights. Got another... Oh yeah, the ring is definitely a new sub-weapon that they introduced in this game. Actually, I've still got my notebook here that I'm like brushing my hand against occasionally. I guess I can put that away. I had my sort of talking points, my discussion notes for stuff to talk about during Chrono Trigger, but we're done that now, so there's nothing for me to see in that notebook. Alright. And I'm not sure there's even anything else worth grabbing in this area at this point in the game. It's basically the only oh shit. This is some bullshit right here. Okay, what we need is like a really fast soul steal. Okay, yeah, I fucked that up pretty badly. But yeah, you need a soul steal right there to take out all the skeletons. And actually, yeah, if you just want the refill, I guess you can just go in without saving. It's a little bit quicker. Fuck. Actually, maybe we can do it like this. Nope, this was a mistake. Fuck. Okay, well, we'll get to see the game over screen in just a second. Yep, there we go. So yeah, that's that. This game has a really, really memorable game over screen too. Bit creepy. Kind of gave me the jitters as a kid, I must say. Actually seems a little bit corny and campy coming back to it now these days, but yeah, very memorable at least. Or not just the game over screen itself, but like the blood's like the disappearing into a like mist of blood is also very memorable. I think that Rondo of Blood might have done the same thing for its death animation, where he just like goes flipping around in the air and just like dissolves into a cloud of blood. Okay, but and obviously they don't expect you to be able to do this just yet, but if we can... Ah, shit. Or maybe this will work. Because I think, yeah, if we do it this way, then that'll go through everything. Hell yeah. And we made it. Okay, and for these guys, we actually do want the jewel knuckles back. Because if we can get him to do the right... if he goes to the right attack... Nope. Maybe you need to get close to get him to do it. Nope. These guys are kind of annoying to deal with. Oh, apparently we can just, like, fight him straight up. Actually, this was a good way to clear this room. Oh, but he won't go off of the level that he's on. Okay, so that kind of did a little bit, I guess. Well, but yeah, this... Oh, shit! Okay, I guess, okay. Pro tip, bullets really hurt! Yeah, that 40 damage is a bit difficult to deal with, even when you do have a winning strategy. But yeah, now that we know that the big double fireball will work on those guys, yeah, that'll be much easier than trying to get the soul steal off. Wasn't even paying attention to what our reward was there. Oh yeah, it was the shield rod. Shield rod is a really fun one to experiment with. Actually, I'm actually even doubly motivated to yeah, try and power through this room here and not give up and move on. Okay, so we do it like that. Okay, so that guy's gonna get on the other side of us, but I don't really care. We want the jewel knuckles. Oh, I don't have a shield equipped. That's why these guys are doing so much damage to me. Or actually, I don't have a helmet yet. Have I not gotten a helmet yet? Okay, we've gotten goggles and sunglasses. So we got one that lowers your intelligence, because sunglasses for idiots, apparently. Well, at least if you wear them indoors. That's a mean thing to say. I've actually got a friend who wears his sunglasses indoors. But it's still stupid, even though he's a friend. It's still stupid, even when he does it. I think it's stupid. Apologies to anyone in chat who wears sunglasses indoors, but yeah, kind of dorky in my opinion. Okay, so that will fuck up those losers. Who brings a gun? A gun in a Castlevania. Oh shit, that was 1,000 Gs right there. Damn it. Because I think I might want to save up for the duplicator on this run. Not like immediately or anything, we're not going to go out of our way, but if we get the money, I think I want a duplicator, because that's a really fun item to show off. Speaking of fun things to show off, I forget exactly how the shield rod works, but we'll figure it out. Because yeah, a lot of weapons have special attacks, but they only have, and there are different inputs that'll let you do those, but there's only so many different inputs. Like you can do back forward is one that some have, and some have like a quarter circle forward. Like basically, what's the one in Street Fighter where you charge back and forward? Sonic Boom. Yeah, it's basically Sonic Boom and Hadouken are the two inputs that you need to know to do special moves in this game. So if you do a Sonic Boom right there, you unlock, and that little spinning thing right there, I didn't know it back in the day, but this sprite right here actually comes from Gradius. That's the front-facing shield that you can choose. I think starting in Gradius 3 is where you started having different options for your weapon loadouts, and you could use the forward shield, and that's what that looked like in Gradius. I don't know if it actually does anything in this game. I think maybe it blocks projectiles, but there aren't that many projectiles in this game. Like I think it kind of acts the way a shield does. I've actually never done this before. I don't think killed the master before the owl. He kind of does the same thing. That's really cute. But so that's what that does. But depending on what shield you have equipped, and this is kind of tricky because of the way they got the buttons set up. Or actually, let's try this actually, because a lot of times there's, or not a lot of times, but sometimes you want to hit your left and right hand items at the same time. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to System. We're going to change our button settings. And we're going to do backdash. We're just going to go crazy. We're going to do backdash on circle and left hand on triangle. This is a big paradigm shift for me. And I know I'm going to screw this up where I backdash where I want the other item. But what this will do is it'll let me activate the shield powers on one thumb. Because I have difficulty hitting square and circle at the same time. And yeah, basically, so if you hit the shield rod button on its own and do the special attack that way, you get the Gradius shield. But if you hit it at the same time as your equipped shield, then you get the special power up. And that'll be different depending on the shield you have equipped. But you gotta hit the two buttons together, so it's a bit tricky. And in fact, I think it's the cow. I think it's the cow with the leather shield. Don't even remember, and I'm doing it already where I'm hitting triangle to backdash. This is a bad idea, but I think it increases your defense. Yep, defense up. Actually, offense up, though, will be useful for the next boss fight. Though with that said, I actually don't think we want the shield rod for that one. I think we're switching back to the good old jewel knuckle. It's just so fast. You can just okay, it's powerful too. It's fast and it's powerful. You've got a full package. There's nothing in this room of that's worthwhile. No reason whatsoever to clear this one. There we go. This room is literally just a passageway. Just a passageway to the other half of the level. But I'm stubborn, and I want to show off these Valhalla Knights. Just show off all the cool different enemy sprites in the game. And actually, yeah, the map completion actually matters too towards our final clear percentage. Yep, I'm doing it already. We're going to switch that back. Anytime we equip the shield rod, I can go back on that and switch to our shield rod setup where we've got the shield on triangle, but otherwise I think we're going back to the standard controls. Well, Oh wait, we took 1 damage from that. Huh. We've powered up quite a bit since the, like, what, 20 minutes ago that we fought that guy on the outer tower. Okay, so we got this all filled in. Now we can pretty much go straight to the boss. Oh yeah, we got the ring equipped too. I haven't even used that. Oh, and you get the library too, that card too. That's a bit of a hint there as to where you're supposed to go after this.
Who are you? Open Hell's Gate. Come forth, my servants.
I don't know what it is. I really love Richter's voice in this game.
Crush this flea who invades my castle.
Yeah, just hamming it up right there. Even more so than Dracula. Oh, shit. Yeah, I think we want to do oh, shit. Okay. Let's go with the long-range weapons, maybe. I remember having an easy time of this fight, or maybe the increased range of the Basilard is maybe worth it here, which I can't actually find. Or you know what, we're just going to do this now. I hate the way that they do auto-sort in this game, but if you hit square, you can choose the order that your items show up in, so that makes it a bit easier to navigate things. There's the Basilard. I think we actually want a healing item right now, too. Get some pot roast going. Okay, so that'll do. Oh, now we gotta go all the way down for the shield. Whoa! Whoa! That was like some kind of big super attack there. Oh wow, we are totally like not supposed to be here yet. I can tell just by... Oh, I've never seen that attack before. Okay, so we just got fucked. Oh, it's been a while since I saved too, hasn't it? Oh well. There's not much to do in this area other than just kind of clear it out. I do not remember taking that much damage from that boss. Like, I pretty much remember it just being a thing where you just get up and just shiv them repeatedly without much resistance. Oh well, we'll be fine. And yeah, for some reason, some of the letters don't show up on the loading screen. There's a couple different modes you can put the emulator on. It's either, what is it? It's either like software or hardware emulation, something like that. And, okay, is there any... Let's check the map, actually. We actually do have some stuff yet to explore, so that sucks that I lost a bit of progress there. But, even so, this is not going to take very long. In fact, I think, I wonder if, is it really worth using the Basilard at this point? Basilard? Is that even a real word? I've never seen this word outside of this game ever before. Actually, silver plates, that'll be a little bit of extra defense. This is just money. Money rings. Oh wow, that's a big downgrade. It's like not even worth the extra attack speed. It's amusing though. I don't know, something about button mashing I find really satisfying. I really like button mashing in Mega Man, and I really like it in Castlevania too. That's the main reason why the Basilard is my favorite weapon. Even if it sucks, we're gonna keep using it. Okay, and then we're going to top up our HP in the next room over. Basilard, just a type of dagger. Okay, cool. You see, you learn so many things when you're here streaming stuff on Twitch. It's just so much more educational than just playing games alone. I'm guessing that's like some kind of European thing. Seems to be like a lot of these weapons and items in this game seem to be rooted in just sort of medieval weaponry and that type of thing. Yep, we're just gonna soak up those hits. Oh shit! I didn't realize I was that low on HP. Okay, I'm an idiot. I guess it's kind of inconvenient the way the damage ticks down like that. It's like it's got to float up to the top and then it rolls down. It looked to me like I had like 50 HP left there, but of course it wasn't done ticking down from the previous hits. So here's what we're going to do. There's no reason to backtrack through the whole area before the boss. We're not getting anything useful that'll help us fight it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to beeline for the boss and then backtrack through the area. This whole playthrough has turned out to be kind of embarrassing, I must say. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've sort of embarrassed myself on stream. Heck, I'd rather embarrass myself on stream by you know, being terrible at video games, as opposed to the, you know, myriad other ways that you can sort of embarrass yourself. See also Dark Side Fiddle. But yeah. So what do we actually want for this fight? I think we. Okay, I'm gonna try the base lard. Basilard? I'm going with Basilard. It just seems right. Yeah, Basilard. Because base lard, like, I'm sure that this thing isn't meant to be like a portmanteau of the words base and lard. Like, it is not a base lard that we're using here. Oh, you can actually just stand under the axe. That changes the whole game. You can just stand under the axe. Although we're still getting our ass kicked, but still, you can stand under the axe. Shit. That's amazing. Oh, fuck. Okay, that's him down. So now, we can heal back up. We got the pot roast here. Okay, and with just... there's my Knight Shield. And so with just the werewolf left, we should be fine. Or in fact, this guy's a little bit trickier to just you know, just stand around and hit him. So I think we're actually gonna go with the broadsword here. Fuck. Okay, this guy's a bit trickier than I remembered. Oh, that wasn't a very big heal. I think we still get one shot if we just leave it at that. Yeah, the way there's like the pause and then the damage numbers go up to the top, it makes it difficult to keep track of like what your real total is. Whoa. Okay, so yeah. Actually, I wonder if we can just bounce on this guy. Nope. Nope. But it was worth a shot. Whoa. Okay, just keep him at arm's length and, yeah, slash away. Okay, so we got a slightly early
that was a Belmont.
Minotaur and Werewolf. And again, those are bosses from one of the previous Castlevania games, Rondo of Blood. In fact, and they weren't together in that game. They were two separate bosses. And the sprites are pretty much ripped straight from that game, too. In fact, you see a lot of very, very heavy sprite reusage in the Castlevania series, basically from Rondo of Blood forward. In fact, to this day, there are sprites from Rondo of Blood that get used in modern Castlevania games. Or I guess they're not so modern anymore, but stuff like Harmony of Dissonance, Order of Ecclesia. Yeah, all of those games pull very heavily from Rondo of Blood's sprite library. And yeah, we got Mist Form out of all of this. And again, it's a bit of subtle design here. How it sort of just very subtly points you in the right direction. Like you get the library card right before you fight Minotaur and Werewolf and get the Mist Form. Why is that? And of course it's because the next place to go to make use of your Mist Form is the library. It's not an entirely obvious clue, though. Like, I only noticed that in retrospect. I don't know that going through the game the first time, I would be like, oh, there's a library card here. That must mean that we need to go to the library right away. Like, it's not the sort of thing that's obvious the first time through. Yeah, we'll grab that blood cloak right there. And I think, yeah, your first... What's the mist button? Alright, it's L1. Costs a lot of MP, though. Then later on, we'll get items to power up our different transformations as well. Or you know what? I think we can get... Actually, we could have already gotten wolf form by now. I activated the elevator, but I forgot to go back for the wolf. I guess we can... There's a few different things we can do now. Yeah, this game, like I've been saying, this game is very wide open. There's always a bunch of different places you can explore. not always necessarily going to find something useful or productive in those places, but there's always new sights to see, places to explore. Oh, come on, that was just a complete waste and failure right there then. Okay, what if... Yeah, there's just no way around these guys. I don't know what the trick is here. Fuck me. Okay, you can make it, but just barely. Okay. Oh, you son of a bitch! That is some nasty shit right there. Oh, you can kind of see him sort of hunker down when he's about to do it, though. Okay, we need another soul steal, and we need it not to miss. I fucked it up. Okay. Actually, we can just ring this guy to death, too. Yep, just stay out of his range right there. I did save, didn't I? That was like the whole reason we went over to the right just now. Whatever, we're about to die, so we can save again. Oh god. Actually, maybe let's not go this way. Yeah, we'll take the easy way through. Oh, or maybe there is no easy way. Holy fuck, I'm about to die. Away from me, owl. Okay. I feel like we just saved, but I'm not positive, so just to be safe, we're out of healing. Oh, nope, we got a pot roast. Pot roast saves the day. Okay, so what's the way through here? I think it's just this shitty sword that's causing us grief here. We'll go back to the jewel knuckle. Yeah, I think this guy must be weak to blunt weapons or something, because like the jewel knuckle has less attack strength. Okay, because the jewel knuckle on paper is weaker than that sword, yet it seems to do more damage to this big fruity purple knight right here. Oh, this is a strat maybe, or that's a strat too, I guess, where you just get a 50 damage crit and one-shot him. But yeah, we could have done some ledge games with him there. That could have been one way forward. Yep, we barely saved it in time, and that'll be the last time we get to do something like that until we get more healing. You can... There is a little bit of bullshitty shenanigans that can happen, or we... Yeah, we did this way back in the day. Oh yeah, I think you just came in later, but you'll have to excuse the bit of sort of wobbly sprites that you see here in the emulator. I know I've gotten the emulator configured before to where it doesn't do that, and but I don't want to interrupt the stream and mess around with that. I've only got so many hours in the day to actually do the Twitch streaming thing, so like for the next stream I'll have everything configured to where you don't see those weird little bits of wobbly sprites in the background and that. But for now we'll unfortunately just have to deal with it. Oh wow, the little wall kick there. I've never seen that before. That's a really cool guy. He's got a lot of different really cool martial arts moves to show off right there. And he goes down like a chump in like 3 hits, so you don't even get to see most of them. And I think he only appears in like that one screen, and maybe one other screen later on. But yeah, just like a lot of like detail and effort into just like these random, just like one-off bits. Where it's like you got like a martial artist with this super complex move set that only appears in like a couple different places and dies before he gets to show off all of his different moves. I guess we could just use the library card here. Actually, oh, you know what we could also do though, is we could do like I said earlier and go back through the chapel. I think that's what we do, because there's some stuff you can get here now that the double jump is available. And yeah, we're just gonna cheese that sword there. Like a wuss. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you can get up here with the double jump now. Not just the double jump, but the mist form also gives you that little bit of extra height. Okay, we're still doing 1 damage on that guy. Oh, no. That spike ball does a lot of damage, so you definitely don't want to get hit into that thing. And actually, the way we're doing it, we will, if we do want to do the full 200% clear for the best ending, we will actually have to come back here later on to fill in those map squares and get that percentage filled out. But we can do that later. I mean, we will have to do that later. I mean, we don't have to do that later, but if this is going to be a full 100% playthrough, or 200% even, we're going to have to do that. Make it! Ooh. I feel like he's like just barely hanging off of that one with the tip of his toe, which I guess is a thing you can do in this game. I kind of missed it there, but yeah, if you're hanging just off the ledge, then he does his little elevator riding pose, and you can do the dramatic cake flourish, which is again completely pointless detail that I just absolutely love that they put it in the game. And now that we're here, we can do some. Actually, I kind of missed the opportunity where you get to do the early side bit at the entrance. Because yeah, there's a neat trick you can do with the double jump kick near the entrance, but now that we've got the mist, we can just use that to get up there. So I think, yeah, we're just going to do this stuff in the entrance, which is just like a simple little hallway. I don't even remember what's at the end. I think it's like walk armor or something stupid like that that won't be useful until like ages from now. Whoop. But yeah, we're pretty much like I was doing with Chrono Trigger. We're just gonna explore everything, see the sights, talk to the peoples. Although there's a bit less talking to the peoples in this game. As we heard earlier, Alucard is not really the talkative type. Actually, I think it's shorter to go down here. Yeah, that's a very, very short little shortcut. Then we should be, yeah, back in the entrance. Ooh. Was expecting a down kick there, but whatever. Oh yeah, I am gonna have to refresh my drink right away. Actually, I might as well just show this off, because you'll never do this in the course of a normal playthrough. But Dark Metamorphosis sounds really cool. It's like, oh yeah, let's do a Dark Metamorphosis. And what that does is it makes it so that... Oh, and we even fucked it up there. Basically, any enemy that can bleed. If an enemy bleeds on you, then it'll give you healing. That's what Dark Metamorphosis does. I'm just gonna equip a shitty weapon so I can show it off. Yep, you can see right there. Oh, and yeah, you see right there how the red rust just kind of failed me. But yeah, Dark Metamorphosis, pretty worthless. Because there's so few enemies, so many of the enemies in this game are just undead. There's like that guy who bleeds. Can't even think of like another enemy in the game that like bleeds to trigger Dark Metamorphosis. I think Doppelganger will work. The next Doppelganger fight later on in the game. And maybe some of the other living enemies, like Werewolf and Minotaur, will maybe work. But yeah, really not many enemies at all that it'll work on. And the ones that it will work on are like just shitty little enemies that you don't really care about healing. Like it's, oh yeah, I really need the extra healing. Fighting all these blood zombies that die in one hit before I can even trigger the healing. Or actually, do we need the double jump? So we got this little hole up here. Oh yeah, we actually do need the kickoff. Yeah, just like that. So yeah, normally you need bat form, I think, to get up here. But yeah, you can do that little double jump kick trick off of the bats, and that'll get you up here a little bit earlier. Whoops. Okay, might be time for a soul steal right here. Didn't get a lot of healing off of that, but it took him out. Actually, we should use our sub-weapons more, because, yeah, Holy Water would have just wrecked that guy. Oh, and hey, we got a save point. I was just thinking that we hadn't saved in a while. Yeah, I feel like it's walk armor. Yeah, that's what that looks like to me. That's all you get. Oh no, Holy Mail. That's actually maybe decent. +8 defense. That's pretty nice, actually. It's like half damage against those armored dudes. And yeah, as I said, damage calculations in this game are purely additive and subtractive, so like you can see right here, I've got 29 attack, 18 defense. So if I were to attack myself right now somehow, I would do 11 damage, because the formula is just attack minus defense. Which is why you see so many attacks do like 1 damage a lot of the time throughout the game. Oh, are you? Yeah, so the Final Fantasy Tactics playthrough, you know, I thought Lucha Bear sounded like a kind of familiar name too. Is kind of pathetic, but I do actually browse through the list of subscriber names. But yeah, I did a Final Fantasy, or it's basically abandoned at this point. It's kind of what you would expect. It was a 4-job Fiesta run where but you know, they have every year the Final Fantasy 5 4-job Fiesta, and I did a Final Fantasy Tactics version of that, where I decided I was gonna go through the whole game with 4 characters using only a specific set of 4 jobs. And as you might expect would happen under those constraints, I got stuck at the Y-Graph fight. Oh, is it? Okay. Or actually, I'm thinking of Geordie Bear. I'm thinking of Geordie Bear over on, I think, Rick Road's channel. There's a lot of bears out there, I guess, but whatever. Yeah, good to have you around. I know that there are like a few people who have followed my stuff over the years. They tend to be kind of the silent type. I get very few commenters or chatters. I think it's just maybe my personality maybe attracts that kind of person, because I'm that kind of person myself. I almost never comment on YouTube videos or participate in Twitch chats or anything like that. I'm very much kind of a lurker myself. And I've noticed that I do get like crowds of viewers very rarely doing these streams, and very rarely I'll get like a good number of viewers on a YouTube video, but very, very few commenters. Anyways, what I was about to say is, yeah, I got stuck on the Y-Graph fight, could not beat it, and so I basically, the Final Fantasy Tactics playthrough stalled right there. It was a good run while it lasted. I feel like I got a lot of really sort of interesting, worthwhile commentary out of that run. And what I'm thinking I might do is I might just bring back that Final Fantasy Tactics playthrough here on Twitch. Because I think, I don't know, it's weird how often I'll come in on a Twitch stream and it'll just be like someone like farming drops, or like Pokemon is a big popular game on Twitch for some reason, and I don't understand why. That game seems really boring to watch to me. But when you've got like a... But it seems to be the sort of thing that's more acceptable on Twitch. So like, whereas I don't want to do a YouTube series where it's just 10 videos in a row of me getting beat up by Y-Graph and Velius and all of that.
I'm interested in
that
this.
might be the sort of thing that the Twitch audience is more into, where I just sort of like bash my head against Y-Graph for like an hour at a time. I actually did come up with a winning strategy. I did actually win that fight off camera, but by that point, it was like a year later. Summon Spirit? I don't remember the input for this. But yeah, it was like just recently, I just decided, okay, maybe we'll pick up the Final Fantasy Tactics playthrough again. And I did it, and on like my first try, actually, or not my first try, but like within my first 3 tries, I beat Velius. Because it's just an RNG thing. Like, I know the strategy. We need to use Absorb HP on. We need to get Absorb HP on as many characters as we can. And we need to just use that on him, because it'll take him down in 4 hits. But it has like a 40% hit rate. So it's just a matter of, can we succeed on a 40% chance, like 4 or 5 times in a row. And that's basically all that fight is for me at this point. So yeah, kind of dull. Kind of ran out of stuff to talk about with it on YouTube, but yeah, that's Final Fantasy Tactics. I will probably bring that back on Twitch at some point or another. Oh, these guys are a pain in the ass. So you get like these guys are even worse than the regular Flea Men, because they tend to have kind of a low arc that they can get on their jumps. And also at this point, at this early point in the game too, they take 2 hits, which is not the sort of durability you expect from a flea man. Oh, actually, we didn't even need the mist to get up there. This next boss is pretty easy, if I remember correctly. I mean, you know, watch me fuck it up somehow and die, regardless. That's a well-hidden secret there, too, because it kind of looks like there's something behind there, but you might not necessarily notice it unless you're really paying attention. Because you can tell there's a little bit of hallway. Actually, what did we just pick up? Let's try out all the weapons we got at our disposal here. We got a holy rod. We got a morning star, too. That thing's really dumb and boring. I'm just gonna... or, I don't know, it's blunt. So maybe it'll... Oh, and actually it is. It's actually super effective against those flea men. So yeah, we actually do get some use of out of the morning star right here. Yeah, the armored enemies seem to be weak to blunt-type weapons and resistant to slashing. Hoi hoi. Actually, Holy Rod probably counts as blunt as well, and holy. So yeah, you got the sort of 2-for-1 package there. This one, I think, has a special ability too. It's not much of a special ability, so this is the regular attack. And there's the super attack! Blink and you miss it. It's just a big shock of holiness for literally 1 frame. I think it does a little bit of extra damage, and that's it. Whoop. Oh, this guy's doing 2 damage. Yeah, Yep, that was a boss fight. I was really afraid I was going to screw it up and get killed there. So yeah, that was Lesser Demon. He actually does a few different things if you let him live for a little longer. He'll summon mudmen at you, and they'll sort of crowd the area if you leave him to his own devices for too long. And I believe it's bat form from here, which means we're basically ready to win the game at this point. Sort of. We can get the worst ending of the game right now. And yeah, the requirements for the extra endings for this game are kind of obtuse. Again, kind of Dark Souls-y in that way, in that you don't get a lot of guidance and have to figure things out for yourself. But yeah, I think we will just go ahead and actually, okay, we can get to Richter at this point, but we probably can't actually kill him, because at one point in the fight, at the halfway point of the fight, he'll use holy water and just kill you, and there's not really anything you can do about it. I think if we had Power of Mist... I think there's a big blind spot, actually, on this Holy Mace. Yeah, you could see, it just went, like, right through that flea man. Okay, so that's that area. We got the bat form now. Oh, it makes me really wish that I was on the PSP version. Oh, and I'm playing so much of this now, too. It would actually be a long time to recover all of this territory that we've covered on if I just went back and redid everything on the PSP. Because I remember the green fairy. Oh yeah, now we can just go like blitzing through the whole game world right here. This bat form is just great for just moving around. Yeah, there's like I think it's like a, what would it be? Not 360, but a 270-degree circle on the D-pad, starting from up and ending in the direction you want to go. It'll get you that bat attack right there. Super fast, really great for just zipping around territory that you don't want to muck through. And you know, you got the different status effects, curse, poison, and all of that, and you got the medicine to recover them. But it's not really worth it to like mess around with the menus, I don't think. Like I never feel like wasting time, like actually uncursing my curse. I feel like I can just wait for it to go away on its own. The way items work in this game is a bit strange. I think they did it wrong, at least in my opinion. I think it would have been better if items were just like a thing you select off a menu and use directly in the menu. So like I could go to the menu say use uncurse, and it would just use it right there instead of having to put it into my hand slot and then go out into the game and use it and then switch my shield back in. It's just kind of a hassle. Kind of stupid the way they did things there. And again, that's the kind of nitpicking that people do on this game. The people who kind of think that it isn't that great, because I know this game has gotten a little bit of blowback in recent years. I've seen people making comments like about how this is actually, how Symphony of the Night is actually the worst Castlevania game, or you know, the worst Igavania, the first one in the modern style of the open world map, Super Metroid style of game. Oh dear. Okay, let's see how much better. Okay, so we got 35 damage on the big holy explosion there. And 29. So, yeah. We got the regular attack for 29 damage. Or, okay, 58 here, actually. I guess the additional holy element, I guess, is probably what's beneficial there. It'll probably do, like, extra bonus damage against enemies that are weak to holy. But yeah, useless right now, because those guys die in 2 hits either way. Okay, we can finally do the caves here. Or I have Legacy of Darkness. That sounds like one of the 3D ones to me. I've not actually played any of the 3D or I played. There was one of the ones on PS2. I played one of the 3D Castlevania games on PS2, and I actually kind of liked it. I forget which one it was. I think it was like the first one they did on PS2. I kind of liked, but yeah, I'm not really into the modern 3D Castlevanias. Oh, 64. Okay. I've seen apologists for that game. Actually, there are some people who do like the Nintendo 64 Castlevania games, and I'm curious to try them myself. But like the new stuff, like the really new stuff that's like on Steam and modern consoles. And I can't say I don't like it, since like I mentioned, I've never played them, but it just doesn't look like my kind of thing. It looks like just aggressively generic and just not Castlevania at all, to me, at least. I don't even remember if there's anything worth getting down here. But whatever, we're just gonna go down. There's the teleporter that we can unlock. Or actually, there is definitely something worth getting down here, now that I think of it. In fact, it is one of the requirements for the best ending we can do right now that we've got the bat form. I really need a drink. I mean, I just took a drink, and that was a drink. Or what am I talking about? I got water right here for exactly this. Always got the backup drink. Whoop. Yeah, as much as I was saying about how I like the Basilard for its sort of rapid attacking capabilities, yeah, that's kind of unnecessary to have those. To have the rapid fire attack when you can just kill everything in one shot with a big old holy mace. Ooh, bandana, that sounds like an improvement. It is not. Huh. So a bandana is basically the exact same thing as a stone mask. Except, and it seems to me like the stone mask, if it's going to be worthless, like if you're going to include an item in the game that's just exactly the same as another item, except slightly worse, you might as well give it like a little bit of flavor. Why not just show him wearing the stone mask? There's a couple items like that, actually, that'll change the way your character looks. Or did I get that right? Or no, the stone mask is the better one. Yeah, we want the stone mask. Yeah, int we don't really care about. That's just spell damage, which is not really a thing in this game. We want to go down this way, actually, is where we'll meet the succubus. We already went in there. Okay, so yeah, you need the bat form to get in here, and this is a place you need to go in order to get in order to unlock the second tower and get the second castle and get the best ending. Claymore, I feel like showing that off. I think it's a big two-handed sword. Yeah. Is that even better damage than the one we had on before? Okay, it's actually much better damage, but it's got a weird, long arc to it. Like these two-handed swords, even though they do extra damage, I feel like it's really not worth it to lose the attack speed. It seems like they have a bit of extra range too, though. Or actually, can you, is there a special ability on this one? Oh, there we go. I wonder if that does extra hits too. It does the little, like a sha-sha-sha sound effect there. Which makes me think you might get extra hits if you use it that way. Got a bunch of meal tickets. I believe that item is just, ooh, Moonstone. I think that's actually like a accessory that's synced to the game clock, if I remember right. Oops. Oh, no, it isn't. Or maybe it is? I don't know. Or I guess it would be the PS1's internal clock, so who knows what that is on the emulator. But, yeah, we'll use that if it's going to be useful to us. But yeah, obviously that's not going to be reading from my PC clock. Unless, I guess that could be a function of the emulator. Or maybe it's based on playtime. I'm not positive exactly. I'd have to look it up. It seemed to me that sometimes the Moonstone is the good one and sometimes the Sunstone is the good one. And I was never quite positive on... Or I bet you it's based on clock cycles. Because I don't know if the PS1 had an internal clock, but... Yeah, I bet you it's based on like the same type of hourly cycle that they use to unlock Orlok's room there.
Mother!
That voice! Alucard, it's you!
I'm coming, Mother! I'll save you!
No, Alucard! Don't come here!
But Mother!
It's all right.
This
If
kind of
my
graphical
death
style
can save others,
is kind of
I'd
making a
gladly
comeback
surrender
here
my
in
life.
modern days too. This you see,
Mother, no! Please, no!
it's like some of the sprites are very detailed and
Yes,
elaborate, like
Alucard.
Alucard here.
Watch me
So
die,
you got like
and
the
remember
belt and
always
the
my last
like,
words
multiple
to you.
layers of clothing on him.
Yes,
He looks
Mother.
really fancy.
You must
But then
despise
Lisa's
humans.
design here on the sprites,
They are
though,
to be your prey.
very minimalistic, a bit reminiscent of the
Better for
sort
them
of
to die
minimalistic
than to
design you
let
see
them
in a lot of
compound their
modern
sins.
PC
Begin
games,
by
stuff
slaying
like
that one over
EG,
there.
which is not super modern
No,
at this point.
it wasn't like this.
What's wrong?
Sword and sorcery,
Alucard.
or sorry, sword and
My mother
sworcery,
never said such
sort
a
of
thing.
had that similar kind of minimalist
What do you
style.
mean? Kill them and bring them happiness.
No, you're not my mother.
I'm not
What
sure
kind of
exactly what the
demon are you?
succubus was on about, or what the whole idea here. What would have happened if he would have slain a human
Free of
here?
my spell. I like that.
Demon, death is too good for you.
Come here, little boy, and show me what you got.
Okay. Okay, looks like it's just extra damage. But it's a longer animation that just completely missed us somehow. Oh yeah, we can double jump. Oh. Okay, it looks like it has to hit you with the tip, which I guess makes sense since, Actually, you know what? I bet you we can do it this way. I bet you this would be a fight where this kind of strategy will work. Oh, she only had one hit left anyways. That was more damage even with that thing too.
Darling, I smell your blood. You're a vampire? Could it be... that strength,
Wait, so
that
she knows...
beauty? You're the son
So
of
she knows who
Lord
our mother
Dracula.
is, enough to, like... She knows enough of our
Death in the
history
dream
to
world will
concoct
set your
this
soul wandering
elaborate
for
dream
eternity,
scenario.
demon.
But she doesn't know that we're
Wait,
Dracula's
I
son.
beg of you.
And as much as I said, I unironically like most of the voice acting in this game. That death scream of hers right there. Could have used maybe a couple more takes on that one, I think. But anyways, that's the gold ring right there. And there's a sort of an elaborate like back and forth that you need to do to get the other ring to unlock the second castle. I actually can't remember the whole sequence offhand. I think we need Echo of Bat. So yeah, you need the bat, you need Echo of Bat, although you don't technically need it. You can go fumble through in the dark if you have the whole layout of the room memorized, but you kind of need Echo of Bat. Then you get the Spike Breaker, and then I think you're done. That after image that Alucard has too as he moves around, I just really, really like. Actually, yeah, there's a boss up here. Yeah, this would be sort of your next most natural destination when you first get the Jewel of Open. So as a result, we're kind of over-leveled for this. This is going to be a pretty easy boss, both this one and the next. And he's sort of, yeah, 3 hits. 3 friggin' hits is all it takes. In fact, I wonder if we'll be able to just, like, clean out the whole pile of snakes here with just 1 soul steal. Whoops. Oh no! Oh no! Actually, that ticks down very slowly. I feel like the item that makes you stop taking damage underwater is actually not even required. Oh, I forgot to equip my shield. Actually, let's actually try that. Okay, let's not. Let's just punch him. Let's just stand here and punch him. There we go. That's how you do it. This is how you fight a boss. We'll fight like men. Which means just, yeah, just sitting there and just do the big Rochambeau right there. Just punch back and forth until one of you falls over. Crystal Cloak, I think that's actually worse than the Blood Cloak. Oh, it's actually slightly better. In a few different ways. Okay, we'll go with that. Oh, that's right, the Blood Cloak has some other property. I think it has the Dark Metamorph, something like, what was it? Oh, converts damage to hearts. Not really worth the point of defense, though. Which is not to say that the point of defense is even particularly valuable. Got another. I'm not even going to bother showing it off. Scimitar is another one of those shitty, boring swords that all look the same. Okay, we'll double check and make sure that that's true, but I'm pretty sure that's true. It just looks like that. No special attack. No special attack. Going back to the Jewel Knuckle. This is going to be a martial arts playthrough, apparently, of Castlevania. Weird how they have to reload the music from the boss room there. It's the same track, but I don't know, something weird going on. Or can we... Or that's right, I think the leaps, or the high jump is from Grand Falloon, way down in the bottom. Actually, I think we're making good time here. I think this will maybe be like a couple session thing where we'll probably be able to clear the first castle on this sitting right here. Yeah, we'll clear the castle, the first castle on this stream, or at least get the rings to be ready to clear the castle, and then we'll, yeah, probably take a couple sessions to do the reverse castle. Oh, there they go. Drown! And that nice bit of extra attention to detail where they don't actually burst into flames until it reaches up past their visors. That's just really... And I'm sure that was deliberate. I'm sure they timed it just so that that they'll die the instant it goes up above the visor. Yeah, that's definitely not a coincidence. Whoa! Freaking frog. Alright, this bridge right here. I don't think I was able to actually figure this out as a kid. I think I had to look this up on like game FAQs to figure out how to get down there. Even with the skeleton ape that you spawn later on, I think I needed help to get through that one. Because yeah, there's no way I would have figured out like the whole sequence, not just the bridge, but especially the whole sequence to get to the second castle. There's no way I would have figured that. Or I remember now. Right, this is another game from, how could I forget? Oh man, so okay. On my Chrono Trigger stream, I was talking about one of my first game magazines that I ever owned was, I think it was the 1996 Buyer's Guide from EGM. It was, yeah, EGM Holiday Buyer's Guide, 1996 or 90... Was it 96 or 97? Now that I think of it. But yeah, within the same... Or actually, no, I think I'm conflating two different magazines. Yeah, this was a different magazine. Whatever it was, this is another game that I got interested in it as a result of seeing it in a magazine. I think it was... Maybe it was a different... Because I was talking about in Chrono Trigger how I sort of got into RPGs in general, and Chrono Trigger in particular, as a result of seeing a walkthrough in the EGM Holiday Buyer's Guide. And if it wasn't the same magazine, it was one of those same types of EGM issues where I saw a walkthrough of Symphony of the Night. And it wasn't a particularly detailed walkthrough. It had maps of all the different areas, showed you where to get all the items, it had boss strategies and that type of thing, but there wasn't that much to it. It was mostly pictures and artwork and maps, which is what I really like to see in a walkthrough back in the day. So that's what would have first introduced me to this game. This was another one that I discovered through a game magazine back in the day. That's one for a discussion too. I think I've talked about this before in my YouTube LPs, but I was never much for game news. I'm not nowadays, and I wasn't back in the day. The whole reason I bought game magazines back in the day was for the walkthroughs. Not even to help me get through the games that I owned, but to just read walkthroughs of games that I didn't own, to get like sort of an idea of what they were about. Sort of like, and positive, I've talked about this, sort of like a proto-LP. It's like you see people sort of experiencing games that they can't or haven't played for themselves through LPs, not just the video LPs, but like the old text-based ones they did on the Something Awful forums back in the day, where the whole Let's Play thing got kicked off. And I see game walkthroughs, or at least like magazine walkthroughs of video games in the way I used them back in the day, as a sort of a similar type thing, where it gets you like a very detailed picture. You get like maps and artwork and a bunch of screenshots and like descriptions of the things that you actually do in the game. And I think that gets you a much better idea of what these games are about and whether or not they're worth playing than like a stupid shitty preview where it's like, yeah, this game is coming out. Here's a couple screenshots. We expect it'll be really good, but we have no idea because we can't play it yet. And like that's video game news in a nutshell. It just seemed completely pointless to me, even back in the day, and it does today, too. I've never really followed gaming news at all. Yeah, gaming magazines, it was all about the walkthroughs for me, and I'd read the occasion, and reviews as well, of course, because those will also tell you what a game is about. But the walkthrough does it in more detail, and they tend to be fuller pictures of the game. They'd be like, yeah, full, have like artwork and stuff in them. Oh yeah, that was... Oh, wrong button. Or actually, there's a thing I want to get behind the waterfall. Or did we get it already? I feel like there's some secret boots. There we go. Okay, I think if we can get the... Because we'll untransform if we touch water. Oh, actually, yeah. So yeah, water cancels your transformation, but if you got enough speed with the bat burst there, you'll just go right through. Maybe I was a bit ambitious, thinking that I could get through the first castle in the next 15 minutes. I guess we'll see how far we can get, but... yeah, it's not work today that I've got, but I guess, yeah, maybe just to describe the stream schedule a little bit. Basically, the main limiting factor for how often I'm able to stream is work. Yeah, I work, or I've got work most of the days of the week. I'm off on Mondays, so I can stream pretty much all day Monday. And I'm off every second Saturday, so I can stream pretty much all day. every second Saturday. Oh, and I'm off on Friday as well, but I've got board game night Fridays, so I'm off at 5 on Fridays. So yeah, that's an explanation for the reason the schedule is the way it is. I don't know why I felt the need to go into that, but yeah, like I said, I kind of went in a whole rapid ramble about everything I have to say about this game right out of the gate, so kind of, and that's the thing I like about what I liked about being on YouTube, was I could sort of plan out the content of each video in advance. I was kind of starting to do that, where I would like actually record, because I used to do it where I'd like do the whole game in one go through, and then just split up the full video into just different segments. And then later on, I just started actually splitting it up into segments, where it's like I play a bit of the game, stop the recording, and then I plan out what I was going to discuss for the next part. And I see that sort of carrying forward here onto Twitch as well. And a lot of that is just because I'm like starting up on Twitch again, so it's kind of all-consuming in my life at the moment, where I spend a lot of my time like at work and stuff just thinking about the games that I'm playing here, and just thinking about the games in general and coming up with discussion topics as I do that. This guy's gonna be really easy. So yeah, you can come here much earlier than we did. Got a little pop-up message there in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. I hope not, but it's very distracting. This is one... yeah. Actually, I wonder if the little bit of extra... Okay, we're gonna do this again. Let's just do this once and for all. I'm gonna get the order the way I like it. So we'll do swords. Or, oh, that's right. We gotta do it in kind of reverse. Yeah, we'll do sword. Yeah, we'll do short sword. Sword. No, we've got to do it in reverse order. So we'll do medicine at the bottom. Then throw 1. Throw 2. Food. Actually, oh, no. Okay, we'll do throwing at the bottom because those are the most useless. We'll never use those. We'll do food. We'll do medicine. We'll do... Oh, bombs are useless too, son of a bitch. Okay, we'll do bomb. We'll do throw 2, throw 1, food. We'll just... You gotta do this eventually. Get this out of the way. Get it sorted the way you like at some point in a playthrough, so we'll just do it now. We'll go two-hand, fist, club, sword, sword. Okay, so now from now on, whenever we want to sort our items, this is the dumbest way that they could have done a sorting system, but then when we want to sort in the future, we just go like this. And that'll sort our items in the priority that we like. You know what? I'm going to try out these blue knuckles. Just try out every weapon. Oh yeah, I think the Herald's Shield is an upgrade too. I think this one actually has a special property too. I can't even... Okay, I can see. You get like a little blue thing there. It's like an uppercut. I really miss the slide. I feel like this game could use a good old-fashioned slide. This thing is really shitty. That doesn't even have the range to, like, even get in and hit him. So we're gonna... Yeah, we'll try Basilard again. See if this has... Or actually, yeah, the other cool thing about the Basilard is you can sort of stab the enemies as you're advancing forward, too, which is useful against some bosses. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is fun. I think we're going to revert back to what I said in the beginning. Just do like a full Basilard run for a little while. We'll try out the new weapons here and there, but yeah, I just really like being able to stab the shit out of everything. I completely forget where Echo of Bat is, though. Oh, we've got our familiar. I completely forgot that you've got to equip the cards for those guys. It's easy to forget since they're... Like, they level up, so it's... You kind of want it there just to not waste the experience. But on the other hand... I think she just... Yeah, she's that straightforward. It's a very weak attack. So yeah, it's kind of a waste if you don't have a familiar equipped, but on the other hand, they're pretty useless. So, it's not a big deal, really, if you miss them. Oh, and so yeah, some of the content that was cut from the Japanese version, or that was cut for the American version of this game, is there's a couple different versions of some of the different familiars. There's a second fairy, a green fairy, who's exactly the same as the other one, except she's got a little Easter egg where she sings a song for you if you idle long enough. Or actually, I might as well do the demon card, since he actually kind of does something for you occasionally. In fact, we'll just go up and, yeah, hit his switch there. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's also a second demon as well, which works the same way as the other demon. It's just he has a different face and, I think, different voice lines for, hitting switches. And that's basically it. You can kind of see why they decided to cut them from the North American version, since it's just kind of, again, those pointless inclusions where there's no need... Oh.
A switch. Why don't I press it and see?
I love that line. It's just hilarious to me. That might be my favorite line of dialogue in the game, actually. Is, a switch! I don't know, it just really cracks me up. Oh, hey, he's actually, like, making himself useful here. Now do that one. Okay. Not quite what we were hoping for, but good enough, I guess. Actually, yeah. Tricky thing with the daggers is you don't get that diagonal ducking slash, but you can get the jumping one. Okay. Can you get it in time? Totally. I think she actually has a decent rare drop if you stick around and farm her, but we're not going to go that crazy. Oh yeah, it's the Ring of Ares here. So yeah, so this one, I think it's something like plus 24, because yeah, it's got has the weird bit of flavor text where it tells you confers the strength of 24 men, which, and I guess gives you like the durability of like 24 ordinary men as well, because yeah, it's plus 24 attack but minus 24 defense. So if we equip this will actually be really good for our daggers, since we've got really crazy attack speed with this thing. But yeah, like I said, since attack and defense is additive in this game, we are going to be taking an extra 24 damage from absolutely every single hit. Okay. Or from a lot of the bigger hits in this game are going to be doing 24 extra damage. But, you know, there's kind of a balance there where we can... Okay, looks like he's having a bit of trouble hitting it too. I guess maybe he's just missing on purpose, so I don't feel bad about fucking everything up. Because yeah, we've got effectively 0 defense now, so any hit that does more than 24 damage will do 24 damage to us, 24 extra damage to us now. Which is a bit scary, but yeah, it comes with the... And especially this early in the game, 24 damage is a really big deal. Like that's actually like really significantly helping our ability to take out the enemies here. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, saying that I was going to get through the first castle tonight. Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left, so I think... Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and speedrun our way through the catacombs. I mean, we're going to grab the items we can along the way and all that. Let's not say things that we're going to regret. Oh, and actually, we got a combat knife too. You'd think this would be like the same thing as the Basilard, because it kind of looks the same. It's a dagger. That's pretty much the same thing, right? But it isn't actually, although it can be. So if you need, it's better than the Basilard at that sort of advancing forward combat style, where you just go like this. But if you want to stand in place and slash, it's actually slower. Although it is a little bit faster than your standard weapon, so we are actually gonna make use of that right here. Okay, so here's the plan. We're gonna speed run the Colosseum all the way to Grand Falloon. Try to get that done in 5 minutes, and then we're gonna call it a night. And if we end up getting our ass beat along the way, then yeah, if we game over, then we'll also call it a night. Board game night will be interesting, actually. We actually had to we played Eldritch Horror 2 weeks ago. We play that game a lot. It's a sort of a cooperative Cthulhu themed game where you're sort of traveling around the world. And you'll have a different big monster that you're trying to defeat each time, and they'll have their different sort of adventure goals or different quest goals that you'll have to complete in order to stop the big bad guy from reviving. Cthulhu is like the hardest monster in that game. So for the longest time, we played this game a ton. We've beaten every monster in the game except for Cthulhu, and it's funny because I have like all these expansions for the game. Because there's so many expansions you can buy for Eldritch Horror, and we've done all of them. So we've beaten all the monsters from every single expansion, but Cthulhu is one from the original box, and he's still the hardest one to this day, and we still haven't beaten Cthulhu. So that's been sort of our goal in, just our repeated plays of Eldritch Horror. Or you know what, like I said, let's just speed run our way through here. We can show those guys off in a bit more detail next time around. And yeah, so this week, last week, we had a big epic run against Cthulhu to the point where we're actually winning. Like, there's a good chance that we'll be able to beat Cthulhu this time around. But because it went so long, it went like right to midnight. It was like a full 3-hour game, and we still didn't finish. So we're like right on the last couple rounds of being able to defeat Cthulhu. But it's also kind of precarious because it looks like because one of the game mechanics in Eldritch Horror is you've got like sort of your goal, which is to solve 3 of the Ancient One's mystery cards. So you get kind of different objectives for each game depending on which cards come up and which Elder God you're fighting. And and if you fail to do the mysteries in time, then the Elder God wakes up. So then you'll have the additional requirement of having to defeat whatever the enemy. So in this case, it looks like Cthulhu. It looks like we're going to solve the mystery in time, or not in time. It looks like we're going to solve the mystery, but it looks like we might not get it in time. And so Cthulhu might actually wake up and wreck our shit. So we might be in for an epic fight tonight. Or it might just be a big anticlimax where all of the rolls go our way and we just solve the mystery and everything is just peachy keen. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is all stuff that none of you on stream will ever have to deal with, is my board game nights. It's just something sort of what I'm thinking of going forward these days. We've got like... Okay, we're going to see if we can beat up Grand Falloon here. Actually, the other thing is, if you're jumping and attacking like you are in Grand Falloon here, that's also... Oh yeah, this is going to be a cakewalk. Look at this. Look at this horse shit right here. Oh, he's just done. Just sit down. Or I guess he can't really sit down, because he's... I guess he can, because he's got like, what, there's got to be like a good, like several hundred asses all amalgamated in this big mound of flesh right here. Okay, you have to be a little bit thorough, a little bit careful about it. I mean, come on, get the fuck down here. Fuck. Okay, come on, we were gonna speedrun this. It's going so well. Okay, it would be helpful if we could... Okay, yeah, that was super easy. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with Grand Falloon too. It's actually a fun boss fight. I kind of regret kind of just wrecking his shit like I did there. Maybe I don't save this then. Maybe I just leave the save point where it is, and we maybe just have some fun with Grand Falloon. Because yeah, he's got a second form that you can show off as well if you defeat all of his outer parts. What's the reward? I don't think there's even any real reward for beating this guy. This is just like basically an optional boss. Yeah, you get Mormagil, which is a pretty strong sword. Actually, no, it isn't. It's actually worse than our base lard. And it doesn't even have a special attack. It's basically just a glorified, boring sword like the other ones that we have. We're actually going to do that. We're actually going to show off everything that Grand Falloon can do next time around. So I guess that whole little speedrun bit was all for nothing. But yeah, we're not going to save it. We're going to do Grand Falloon again in full next session. So yeah, like I said, I work tomorrow all day, so I'm not going to be able to stream. But I don't know. I haven't done a Sunday stream yet. I have work on Sunday as well, but I get off a bit earlier. so I might be able to stream in the evening. And I said that last Sunday, and I didn't end up doing it, but maybe we'll do it this time. I don't know. I'll think about it, but maybe definitely no stream tomorrow. Maybe a stream Sunday evening. Like, it would start at around the time that this one is ending. And definitely streams during the weekdays. I think weekday streaming is just going to be my thing that I try to stick to as much as possible. But yeah, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thanks everyone who came out and watched and chatted and all of that good stuff. It was good having y'all around. VODs will be up on YouTube. You can, yeah, follow, subscribe, etc. Or I guess I don't have the subscription button yet. I probably won't get one of those for a good long while. But anyways, yeah, you know all the things. I'm sure you guys are experienced with the whole Twitch thing by this point. Yeah, thanks a lot for... I wasn't sure if you were still there, so I wasn't going to call you out by name. But yeah, thanks. I guess I could anyways. I've done it in past streams. Now I've lost the chat window. Yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by, Lucha Bear. I appreciate having you out. Thanks to everyone else who stopped by, and I'll see you guys next time. Now we get the awkward pause where I shut down all my streaming stuff.